You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast, the show where one decrepit human body and
Tim,
another one who has an older decrepit body talk about things in a confab. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. Don't at me. In the interwebs.
hi.
Yeah, there we go. It's been a week, Nate.
Well, it's been 2 weeks actually.
Okay, well, but this week has been the weakiest of weeks.
Okay. Do tell. Are we just gonna start off in life?
No, we're gonna do the thing.
Okay. And it lands on life.
It does not. It lands on whatever Earth is. Earth is technology.
Yes.
Which I don't have
anything.
I mean, I have one thing, which I think we didn't talk about last time.
Okay. No, we talked about the micro patents.
Did we?
Yeah.
I literally don't recall.
Yeah. We were talking about, how Samsung had, patenting rounded squares and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well,
old news. Yeah, I don't have anything in tech this week.
But it's not Samsung though. It's LG.
Right. But we were talking about patents, stuff like that. That's how I knew we had the conversation.
I don't remember having that conversation with you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Apparently, 2 weeks ago was also the weakest of weeks.
I fucking guess.
You were all jacked up on what is it, lidocaine or whatever it was.
Yeah, but it was in my back, so it's not like it was. Whatever.
Oh, maybe some of it snuck up to your brain. Who knows?
I don't know. There was a lot of steps. Well, I can't think of one tech thing that occurred. It actually occurred today because Gamescom, Europe's largest gaming convention, is occurring this week through the weekend. I think it lasts for like a fucking week or something. Day 4 it's on. And AMD had a little presser there where they revealed AMD FSR, I guess 3.1, and then also something else that has a buzzword that I am forgetting. But basically, the gist of those things are FSR 3 is going to be available to lots of games and all the graphics cards.
So what does FSR stand for?
FSR stands for Fidelity Super Resolution, and it is AMD's version
Of DLSS?
of DLSS.
Okay.
Or if we want to add to the competition, because that's also, I believe it's called Metal FX on Apple's end.
Okay.
And in Digital Foundry's stuff in DLSS versus Metal FX versus FSR 2.0. DLS winner, Metal FX better than AMD's by a long shot. And AMD's not as good as everybody else's.
Sure.
So now there's third version that will be, I guess, out this fall. And that is set to improve that. But it's also going to have a new feature that has a new buzzword, which I might as well just fucking look up so I don't sound like I'm making shit up. Yeah. And AMD FSR 3 will also have fluid motion frames, which they are claiming is a very fancy piece of tech that their competitors have not invented. And
I beg to differ. That almost sounds like the frame forward stuff that the NVIDIA 4 series is currently doing.
Could be. What does the frame forward stuff do? Because I don't know.
It replaces frames when frames are lost to help maintain a 60 frame per second or whatever FPS.
So my understanding, because I did watch the video on this, it was only like 2 minutes long. Is it's not replacing frames, but whatever it's doing is double to tripling frame rate.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that works, but this is the technology that they're saying that they have. And like FSR 3, it will also be available to competing platforms. Because as the dude on stage from AMD at Gamescom said, wouldn't be right to keep this technology out of the hands of all gamers. Sure. So
that almost feels like a direct swipe at the competitors.
I'm sure. I guess it doesn't much matter in Apple's court, other than the fact that there are games and stuff that use FSR2 on Apple's end. I know because I think I talked about ages ago when that came to my Black Desert mobile game that I play. And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. But also, it's garbage.
Right.
It should be known that a large quantity of Nintendo Switch games actually use AMD FSR 2, including Tears of the Kingdom. So we'll see. We'll see how much better Fidelity Super Resolution 3 is. I hope they figured out whatever it is that was keeping them behind DLSS and new challenger to the market that aped them with Metal FX. So yeah, that's the tech on that. That's the tech on that.
Well, would the PlayStation Portal be tech or gaming?
I think it's filed under crap.
Like I don't want to give it its due in gaming because it really doesn't.
Okay, well, we can handle the tech end of it.
Yeah.
So PlayStation Portal
The Q, Project Q.
is now the official title for the PlayStation Q, which is an 8-point-inch
Yes.
LCD 1080p non capable of doing anything on its own device that requires you to both have a PS5 and really good internet for you wherever your portal is located, and really good internet hooked up to your PS5 in order to do anything at all with this device. And we've talked about it before, and it's basically if you chopped a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller in half and slapped a screen in between the thing so it looks something akin to a Frankenstein switch that doesn't switch.
Right.
Or do anything without Wi-Fi. That doesn't have Bluetooth.
Right.
So you are unable to pair a different controller with it.
Oh, no,
You're
no.
unable to pair.
You can, as long as using their proprietary spec.
No, I was saying because I wasn't covering just the headphones. I was saying you couldn't hook it up to a different controller.
True.
Because it
not
doesn't
even a
have
PlayStation
Bluetooth.
controller, right?
Correct. You couldn't even hook it up to a PlayStation controller because that uses Bluetooth. So if you wanted to prop it up on bed or use a claw in bed, which is what I would do, you can't do that. You got to hold on to this motherfucker. And then as you said, kind of jump in the line a bit, you cannot use Bluetooth headsets with it either because it doesn't have it. But you can use the new PlayStation Pulse Explorer headset phones buds. Which is ironic because these buds were actually announced at the very beginning of the PlayStation 5 reveal. And they're just kind of starting to show up now, which is curious.
And the only reason they're doing this proprietary is supposedly lower latency than Bluetooth LE. And while that's probably
no
some truth to that, maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't either. I don't think it's enough to warrant the exclusion of Bluetooth. Go ahead and include it and Bluetooth.
Because here's where PlayStation's a liar about that. I hook up my Xbox headset to my PlayStation 5 controller that uses Bluetooth. So I'm running my audio, at least on multiplayer games, exclusively through my headset, through my controller. That's Bluetooth.
I agree with you. It's not, even if it's milliseconds faster, even if there's some truth to that, it doesn't warrant the exclusion of Bluetooth.
I did, however, find out, because there's some hands-on stuff now, that it does indeed have a 3.5 millimeter standard headphone jack, which is good.
Which probably takes up more real estate on the board than a Bluetooth radio.
Yeah. Except we're in an era where nobody's even got that.
Well, you do. Don't you? Oh, no.
What do you mean?
You're not using your... Oh, I guess. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm wired.
Yeah.
No, I'm wired. Wired into this newfangled mic.
So yeah, you have a pair of headphones you could use with it. I don't know. It just, the whole thing is just, I don't know what Sony was thinking.
It's $200
for $200.
And if you want wireless headphones, they're another $200.
Yeah.
So if you want the full premium, but have to be tethered to Wi-Fi experience, it's $400. Cheaper than a PSVR 2, but sure as fuck ain't doing as much as the PSVR 2.
Right. And as someone that has done basically this via Steam Link, where I have streamed games from my computer here at my brother-in-law's, and I have gig out and he has gig in, and it's passable.
Well, and I'll continue to say the same thing. I've been beating the drum since I got a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use the PlayStation Share Play or whatever the fuck it's
Sure.
called, share screen, whatever the fuck
Well,
it is,
again, in your own
to my
house.
PS Vita,
Yeah.
to my iPhone, to my iPad. But then as soon as I moved to PS5, that shit started being garbage and unusable for me.
Hmm.
Now, to play devil's advocate, people like co-founder of Fork in Your Podcast, Damian Newman, he uses that stuff all the time. And granted, he has very fast internet at his job, on his phone, and in his house because he's in the DC area.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had no problems streaming stuff from his PS5 to his phone and whatnot. But mine doesn't work.
Right.
And it worked on the 4. Don't know why it doesn't work correctly on the 5. It'll like connect for a minute and then it'll lag out, or it'll glitch, or it'll stutter, or any of the other fucking things that you don't want in any kind of streaming experience.
Sure.
And even for me,
and you're tech savvy. Could you imagine the general consumer getting their hands on this going, I don't know why it doesn't work?
Oh, the thing I saw on Twitter that was perfect was like, ladies and gentlemen, let's pour one out for the children this holiday season, for their families that were thinking they were getting them a PlayStation Portable that's new.
Right.
And they don't have PS5s. Like, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah. And the glaring omission of you have a streaming service and you can't connect to it on this portable device.
Yeah.
Again.
You know why? Because the streaming service sucks.
Still.
And it always has.
At least make it work on your portable device.
But how about no?
And it's $200. I don't like, it's $200.
I mean, it's not a terrible price. I don't think, but for what it doesn't do,
right? If it played the streaming service, if it had Bluetooth.
Well, and what's baffling is you couldn't even like use it to watch like Netflix or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could, but you'd be streaming the very app that's sitting on your PlayStation 5, wherever that is. And that's just, you're going to double stream? No.
Right. Again, when I already have a device in my pocket that I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if I can watch YouTube on my watch, what in the fuck do I need a PlayStation Portal for?
Yeah.
I will commend them. Sony is usually pretty good at naming things. It's a pretty good name.
It is.
I'm not gonna lie. For what it is, for what it does, works with the name. It's a bit better than the, I'll say, slight misstep with the PlayStation Vita. I think that thing would have sold more if it was called a PSP2. But instead they wanted PlayStation Life, because that's what Vita means.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fantastic handheld. But you knew Sony was confused about what to do with it when they didn't call it a PlayStation Portable 2. And they just fucking should have. It's like a Wii U style blunder.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, what is a PlayStation Vita?
Right.
Well, it's a PlayStation Portable. Oh, but they had one of those in 2006.
Right. It's a
or 5.
It's an Xbox One X.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, they didn't. But PlayStation Portal, a portal to play PlayStation games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good name.
Yeah.
Good name. Don't know who this is for. But anyway, that's
Again, like you said, pour one out for the kids to get like, ooh, it's a PlayStation, but I can't
Oh my god, there's gonna
Grammy.
be people that are gonna get this, and parents are gonna be mad, and kids are gonna be sad, and it's not the kids' fault.
Right.
It's just gonna be like, well, it doesn't do stuff, and they're like, what do you mean?
It says, please connect to your PS5. That big box under the tree better be a PS5, Mom.
Right? All right, let's spin.
Yep.
Fire, life.
Life.
All right, Nate,
Get into it.
what's been going on?
Well, we had Hurricane Hillary just roll through here.
Earthquake.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I'm assuming you guys caught the remnants up there.
I mean,
A little bit of
get
rain.
earthquakes up here.
No. A little bit of extra rain.
I had a little bit of rain on Friday morning.
Yeah.
That seemed pretty far away from when it happened down to you.
Well, yeah, it took a few days to get up there, and it like broke up right around
We
Idaho.
have had, well, we've had like 2 days of like forest fire air, and then 2 days of clear, and then 2 days of forest fire air, and then 2 days of clear. So it's been roving in waves.
Right.
I thought we had cleared it because Friday and Thursday were nice and clear, and then today it was not. And I was like, oh, things still burning. That's cool.
Yeah. But as the weather patterns shift, it's like, oh, it's onshore now. Oh, it's offshore. And it blows the smoke right up your way. Yeah, that's just like that was, everyone down here panicked, a hurricane is coming, a hurricane is coming. And it's just like, I'm looking at the projections on it. And it's okay, it's going to be a tropical storm by the time it gets here. And it's going to have sustained winds in the 30s with gusts in the 50s. And if anyone that lives in Southern California knows, that's Santa Ana season. That ain't shit. Like people in Chicago are like, ooh, sustained
Gotcha.
winds of 35 miles an hour. Look out. So it got wet, it got rainy, and then through the thick of it all, we ended up with a pretty significant, greater than 5.0 magnitude earthquake, northish of us. So it was just like, there's been memes on it. I think I sent one in the Discord channel that, Dr. Evil, the hurricane isn't working. Send in the earthquake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, of course, I chuckled because you're like, I just told my wife that. And she's like, aw, a 5?
Yeah. Well, she's from your neck of the woods. So
right.
what you guys were commiserating over.
Yeah. Well, like you were just like, you're very nonchalant about this earthquake thing. And it's like, yeah, it was a 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so you guys had that. I had extremely busy work week. I've been spending like 4 to 5 hours on the road a day due to both traffic and distance. I think I mentioned last podcast. My back was doing better. It's doing better still. I have movement. I can move my left shoulder. Still a little weak. Still doing some physical therapy.
Therapy. Yeah.
Fuck. Still doing that. Just trying to get back in it and generally feeling like a useless carcass.
But it's good. I mean, it's good you're on the upswing. That is always nice to hear because you have been, I don't know, for lack of a better term, miserable.
I have been miserable. Yes,
So.
The previous podcast, I think I just had the injections. Yeah, and they were not going so good.
Yeah.
So
for the audience that is only here for the 2 weeks that we're on for the couple hours that we do this, he keeps it pretty mellow for you guys. We do message on the side and message in the Discord, and it's just like expletive this, My shoulder expletive hurts.
Yeah. Just bitching and stuff. Yeah, this past week, as I mentioned, it was a week of weeks. Like, I've been so busy with work and other shit that we started a whole new sub channel.
Oh, the coffee golf channel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started a whole new channel for coffee golf, which we have talked about on the show before. And we have a gaggle of people now who are all playing this with us and sharing their scores and whatnot and using the friends list
So
and all this stuff, which
stupidly
is
addictive. Yeah.
fantastic. And I think I haven't played coffee golf since like 9 days ago, something. I don't even fucking know. Like that's been the kind of
Now, when you do eventually get back to it, just make sure you reference the channel, because again, like today's course was a little challenging, and I managed to find like the total optimal path for it.
mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
So you can use that
Glad you
as a
guys are
reference to at least enjoy the courses.
yeah. I mean, fair enough. I'll have to get to it at some point. Um yeah, things have just been hectic. Um Mom dropped on me that we're doing a family reunion slash my grandmother's 92nd birthday next weekend. So I've been scrambling to get my wife's car into traveling over the mountains condition because it's never made that trek before.
You're going to do that over Labor
And
Day weekend.
yep,
Oh, fun.
yep, yep. um so yeah, that's been a challenge because my wife has fought me every step on the way on, doing things that you're supposed to do for your fucking car. Um, had I mentioned on this show prior about the tires?
I believe you did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, her tires got handled. Then I went in to go get the brakes done, which turned out to be a milk run. Because when I got there and they looked at the millimeters or whatever, and like, oh yeah, no, this you can go all the way down to 2 on these. You're fine. Like you got 7 and 8 on the front and rear, and I was like, oh, well, Google lied to me. So thank you for telling me that.
Right.
I'm gonna leave now, having not spent any money. Thank you. You know.
Peace of mind, and at least you kind of know where you stand on them.
Yeah, and then my wife was fighting me on getting her oil changed, and she's like, "Oh, well, you just take it to the dealer, and it takes like 3 hours." And I was like, "Or you could just fucking get it done at like a Jiffy Lube and have it done in like 45 minutes.
Right.
Like, it's not gonna be. I mean, maybe your dealership has better oil, but and maybe they won't crank the fucking bottom nut off the fucking threads of the fucking pan, but." Unlikely if it's a busy day and it's a Friday or some shit. She actually
Yeah. I mean, unless
but
unless you have a very unique car, Jiffy
she
Lube,
doesn't.
Valvoline, all those places are pretty competent. I've only had one issue with one Jiffy Lube, and that was the fact that I happened to be driving I want to say it was a 94 Passat wagon.
Mm.
Um, and it was the 2-liter turbo motor. And they're like, we don't have your oil filter in stock. We'll never have your oil filter in stock. If you want to go buy one and bring it in, we'll change it for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, she was fighting me on it, and she was like, "I'm not going to Jiffy Lube. I'm taking it to the dealer. My car, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Well, they're
Okay.
probably going to charge you an arm and a leg at the dealer for fucking an oil change, and it's going to take longer." So, you know. And so, in her and also my defense, it took her 6.5 hours to get her oil changed, which is crazy. But
It was
it
cheaper.
was $30 less than
Okay.
Jiffy Lube. So I was like, okay, it's your
Right.
time. You burnt it, not me. So, okie dokie. Which reminds me, need to. I have not checked the car report that they gave her. Make sure that her transmission fluid and shit is up to snuff, and her steering fluid is
Mhm.
up to snuff. Her other fluids are up to snuff. So I need to do that. And then in the midst of all of that, so last Saturday I went to a baby shower. Today I went to a baby shower. I've been just baby showering it up on Saturdays.
Jeez.
So yeah.
Is
And
that
I'm a
is that
dude.
kicking the wife into baby fever mode at all, or are you escaping that somewhat?
I don't want to get into that on the cast
Okay, fair enough.
for fear of reprisal.
Yeah.
I can tell you from my own perspective, there is a little bit of like we're behind.
Well,
And
you were always free to use me as the example of no, you're not.
no, I know, but I don't want to. This is going to sound really cruel, but I mean it with all
I
of the
know exactly
love
where you're
and
going,
warmth.
and I agree.
I don't want to be your fucking age having kids.
You are correct. I didn't want to
Because
be my
that's
age. Yeah.
what my folks did.
Right.
And I for sure was enough by the time I was a teenager. So,
Yeah, no offense taken whatsoever on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grand life plan was 30 to be doing this, not 40.
And I'm halfway to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was 30 married, 32 first kid.
Yeah.
So, no, I get you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, 2 baby showers, back-to-back weekends. Last weekend was for a friend of mine. Actually, one on the cast that I said got married last year in September.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't even know that she was pregnant until I got the invite a month ago. And I was like, what the fuck? Did you guys get really busy like immediately after the honeymoon or what the fuck? And she was like, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, fair enough. But she had a lovely outdoor tea and sandwiches thingamajig in a park. It was lovely. Actually, it was a lovely day that day. It was right before all the forest fires and stuff from the fucking coast hit us. So it was just, I actually noticed it on the drive back. She was pretty far north from us. Like I drove there, it was like clear blue skies, and I drove back and I was like, man, is it hazy? Is it smoke? I'm not sure. But it's good. We did baby shower games. We did the string around the pregnant person's belly to guess the size.
Oh, gotcha.
And we did she had a bunch of other friends of hers there that also had kids.
Did they do
They
the magazine cutout thing where you pick the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the chin or whatever of both parents and you mix and match them?
No,
Okay.
they had a board of like guess the baby weight at birth.
Gotcha.
Whoever gets close will let you know or whatever. And they had a bunch of like disposable white like baby jumpers that you could like paint on. And they did a guess the nursery rhyme in emojis thing.
Yeah. I bet your
And
wife did much better than you at that.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, it's the California license plate thing. We're good at deciphering.
Yeah. Then there did a guess the flavor of the mysterious baby food thing, which I did not take part in because of my food allergies.
Mm-hmm.
One person had a lovely reaction to what ended up being, I guess, meat.
Yeah.
or something, and she like almost threw up.
Mm-hmm.
And then another game we did was baby names of animals. Like what's the actual name of like an elephant's spawn?
Calf.
That sort of shit. I did awful at that one. And I ended up just basically saying fuck it at some point, and I was just like baby eagle. I was like eaglet.
Eaglet.
Uh, like I just started fucking guessing on shit. Like hedgehog. I was like, I don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Like, just fucking freeballed it. And then we did a game that was so fun and successful that Jessica actually copied it, and we did it again today for my sister-in-law's baby shower, which is today's baby shower. Which was, you have candy bars that are mushed up in a diaper, and you're doing like forensic to figure out what the candy bar is in the diaper, like going through fake scat or something. It was really good because it was a little warm in the park, so like some of the shit like got melty and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one that was like chocolatey, but then it had like some kind of bread that looked like it had puffed up, and I'm like, what fucking candy bar is
Butterfinger?
bread? No. Butterfinger was easy as shit because it's super orangey.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The ones that threw us were the one that had like the weird bread thing. It ended up being, it was a Kit Kat.
Okay, the wafers.
Because it sat out and the wafers puffed up and went ewy gooey. I'm like, what the fuck? But when you look at it, you're like, what fucking candy bar
Right.
has soggy bread in it?
Kit Kat. Sure.
And then the other one that really threw us was a Payday.
Oh,
actually.
Because it's peanut and caramel.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like,
Did they do a chocolate-covered Payday at least?
No.
No, it was just a straight Payday. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure a chocolate-covered Payday is just not a Payday.
No, it's basically a Payday with chocolate shell on it.
Yeah. It's like a no nougat Snickers at that point.
Right. An overly peanutted no nougat Snickers.
Yeah. And then this weekend we did another baby shower for my sister-in-law who's expecting her second. Actually, 2 days within the friend of mine. So first week of October, people fucking shitting out babies, I guess.
Those would be what, the Valentine's Day babies?
I don't know.
Basically.
You're the person who's sired more people than I have.
Oh.
I don't fucking know.
Valentine's Day is in February.
Mm-hmm. You asking me to count? Counting's not happening this week.
So 9 months later would be end of October, early November.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go. Yeah, and so as you can tell from my getup, it was Disney Luau themed.
Okay.
So we had Lilo and Stitch playing in the background, and there's pineapple this and fruit punch that, and
no Dole Whip.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I couldn't have. Thank you very much. Yeah, they had like meatballs, and they had like rice and spam ginger thing that was supposed to be kind of like the spam sushi thing, and pulled pork and Hawaiian sweet rolls and all that sort of stuff. And then we did games again. We did the string thing around the belly, except they had like, and it's funny, one of the older ladies commented that like, well, somebody found their market, had actual like yellow metered tape that had like baby measuring thing on it for this type of event. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I actually won that one. So I
Well,
came
you
away
have
with.
plenty of experience now with all the baby showers you've gone to.
Well, honestly, I overshot it at the first baby shower, and they just used string.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend who's pregnant, she's super tall and pretty small in the pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
womb department, versus my sister-in-law, who's short and at this point, because she's getting close, she's fucking huge.
Right.
And so I was like looking at her, and I was kind of measuring it, and I was like counting, because they had the little lines like a measuring tape, and I was like, probably about this. And I was like a 16th under, so I was like super close. Got a $10 Amazon gift card, which I guess irony. Uh, um, and then they did they I didn't know what all I knew the candy bar thing, because on the way there we had to go pick up the candy bars.
Right.
So I knew that was happening, and I was kind of excited about that, because I got to do up the candy bars and put them in the fucking diapers and stuff. And I was like, all right, we're gonna choose candy bars. They're gonna fucking stump people. Which is true. Nobody got all of them. The Reese's Fast Break really fucking threw people.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Because that could be a ton of different. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some mom friends, and they looked at it, and I just kind of like overlooked people's shoulders to see what they were writing and stuff, because I was curious, since I had done up the game for this one. She was like, I don't know what that is. That actually looks like
Poop.
baby poop.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
the only way you could really like pick Reese's out of a crowd is to actually taste it,
yeah, I suppose so.
right?
Yeah, because
Reese's peanut butter is pretty.
it's kind of melted, it's pretty brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had actually fucked up on one of them. So we'd gotten it because Jessica wanted to get it. We'd gotten a Carmelo, and I had broke that up, and I had put it in the diapers. We did it in between games, so we made it up quickly, and I didn't notice that the fucking chocolate says Carmelo on it. So like the first couple of people who saw it were like, oh, well, it's the Carmelo. But by the time it got to like the 8th, 10th, 13th
Right.
person,
Once
it
it
had
melted
melted
a little
bit.
bit. Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, what is that? So I was like, okay, well.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. And then they did guess the emoji title for Disney movies,
Okay.
which actually I didn't do too bad at, but I did fuck up some stuff. I got really thrown by, it was like a dinosaur and then like the robot head, and I was like, what fucking Disney movie has a dinosaur
Transformers
and a robot
Rise
head?
of the Beasts? Yeah.
Right. And then they were like Toy Story, and I was like, oh
yeah.
Okay, all right, fine. And then there was one that was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but the emoji started with a the little snowflake icon thing. But there had already been snowflake icon and a snowman and a princess, and I was like, okay, well, that's Frozen.
Right.
And then this one had like that and a bunch of other emojis, and I was like, Frozen 2, I guess, if we're doing sequels.
Right.
And I didn't count the faces on the emojis, and it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And I was like, fucking son of a bitch. So yeah, so there was that. And and then they had one other one where they had 12 pictures of my sister-in-law at various ages, and you're supposed to guess the age.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was pretty dead from the week. Jessica was deader because she well, number one, she got a promotion. So she's now officially, it's not the official title, but it is the role that she's fulfilling. She's officially a real assistant manager now, permanently. So that's good. But she's working nights now. So boo, but just a
Right.
differential pay. So yay.
Yep.
So yeah, so she worked, she slept like 4 hours, then she got up for her sister's baby shower, and then we left her baby shower at like 4:30 today to come back, and then she left for work.
Poor girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's dead tired. She's dead
That
tired.
is going to be my life soon. We'll find out Monday if it doesn't get pushed back even farther. But so far, the
Okay.
running theory is September 18th. I go on nights.
Yeah.
But
And then I got hit with kind of and I maybe mentioned it last podcast, but it's even more real now because a lot of things are in motion. Basically, one of my oldest and largest clients for my day job, they have 52 locations and a variety of automatic doors, and they have now decided that they are going to do card access on all of them.
okay.
Well, some of these places have really old automatics, and card access ain't gonna fucking fly with them without
Right.
like 7 logic modules. And at that point, why would you spend the money on logic modules
When you can just
with a
replace the door.
motor that's
Yeah.
obsolete? So at this point, let's replace the thing. And then the group that we're doing it with was basically like, well, we don't actually install the door hardware for the card access.
Right. They do
So
the logic boxes.
Yeah, logic boxes and the wiring runs.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, you want us to do that? Oh, and we need to do this with the thing. And so I pulled the thing, and I have a meeting, I think, in a couple weeks, with the two heads that run these 52 buildings. And I was like, okay, we need a fucking game plan here, because if their plan is to do 4 buildings a month and have them actually done, like, I have to stay ahead of what's needed for that, so that we're not holding up the card access people, who are then in turn not holding up the stuff that the card access people are wanting us to do in turn for the thing. And we're like, holy shit, this is going to be
It's going to be a ballet. Yeah.
a lot of work. Like, just a lot of continual work.
Yeah. We had
So
3 doors converted to card access. One of them being a double door, exterior door, so a fire door, and it needed a special handle. And yeah, it from something that should have been a 72-hour job ended up taking 2.5 weeks because they were juggling back and forth between the hardware and the boxes.
Well, and it gets worse because some of the buildings, not only are they going to need new automatics, but some of them have like a wood, like what would be an aluminum storefront is not an aluminum storefront. I guess the mandate on high is that the card access needs to be all concealed. Guess what? You can't do that with solid wood. So now we got to bring on another glazing company, get that stuff done too. So that also has to happen.
Jeez.
And me and my partner Brock are looking at each other and we're like,
yeah,
that's a lot
That's
of
a
work.
lot of moving parts.
It's just us two. We need to be well scheduled and ahead of this, so that if anything else happens, which will, that's not this client, we
Right.
can.
You have to be very nimble at this point.
So yeah, so we're just trying to get all that in a row. So I've been super stressed about that, and I have like so many bids to do on Monday until my eyes bleed, probably. And so there's that. There's the impending family reunion thing, of which, and I mentioned it on the show before, and I still haven't brought it up to my fucking grandmother. I'm going to attempt to probably call her maybe tomorrow or maybe early this week to see if she's interested in sitting down for like a couple hours and getting a microphone in front of her. Not necessarily specifically for a podcast, although it may be released as one at some point in the
Hmm.
future if it does occur. But like, I just want to get like
The story.
her
Yeah.
story down. And obviously, that is something that I do with microphones and audio and stuff.
Hmm.
So it'll just be a matter of, well, I'm probably going to take, if it occurs, I'm probably going to take the old Yeti,
Hmm.
and I'm probably going to slap Logic on my wife's laptop and then probably do that
Okay.
if it does occur. So we'll
Again,
see.
that's something I wish I would have done. Like I have a couple of written memoirs from
Mhm.
like my great grandfather.
Well, and
But yeah,
and
just
you
to have
know,
that, like I remember having conversations with my grandfather and my grandmother that are now just lost to time.
sure, and I'm the second youngest grandkid,
Hmm.
whereas the youngest still lives near her and has spent lots of time with her and stuff like that. So it's like, and I've said before, and she's, you know, flowed some money to me and Jessica, and I've flowed some money to cousins to help her with faucets and things like that. She's not astronomically far away like um the Trotter side grandma who passed away several years ago,
Hmm.
who lived in Canada and was couldn't see her during COVID and all that sort of stuff. Um, so yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Um, then obviously if she doesn't do the recording thing, hopefully it'll be a good time. Um, I am getting um I am taking my wife this time. I believe the last podcast I did when we did this family union for her 90th, Jessica couldn't make it, so I flew solo. Um, so it'll be good because Jessica's seen her several times,
Hmm.
but I think the only time she's seen my whole side of the family there um, was like 10 months into when we were dating, and she went and saw one of my cousin's marriage. We stayed at a hotel and did that whole thing. So like she even told me, she was like, I remember some people, I'm gonna need some pictures and point people out to me. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. So we'll see. We gotta juggle a lot of stuff. And I guess I'm staying in my uncle's toy trailer. Um Probably mentioned on the cast before that he's the one who retired from Department of Transportation
Hmm.
and had knee shoulder surgery. I don't know. He had something metal replaced. Need a bunch of recovery time. And
He's
he's
part bionic now.
yeah. But he's very mechanically inclined, and so his retirement has been. I guess he got a super fancy toy trailer,
Hmm.
and as he put it, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know exactly what his toy is. But for those who don't know, a toy trailer generally refers to a big ass motherfucking trailer that is, like a livable live-in trailer, but like the
Right.
back folds the fuck down because you can drive a quad, motorcycle, muscle car, whatever the fuck into the trailer
Hmm.
and store it in there. And yeah, so I don't know what his toy is or his like or what his toy trailer is. He was telling me, I actually talked to him on the phone yesterday because I was like, what are the details of this fucking thing that we're doing next weekend? Because I got some stuff from my mom, but that's not entirely clear. And he lives closer to grandma anyway. So, and he's actually the one putting it on. So he was the right person to call.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, no, I guess me and Jessica are going to be bunking with him. He says he has a queen size bed for us in his trailer. So I don't know how fucking big his toy trailer is. It's
Right. And I guess it
probably big.
all depends on
I'm
the size of the
imagining.
toy too. If it's a full size car,
Yeah, I don't
that's a
fucking know.
24-foot trailer minimum.
I mean, I have no idea.
So
So we'll see.
yeah, if it's a little, little four
Well,
wheeler, it
and
could
he was
be a
already
20
talking about
footer.
how he installed an AC unit in the thing and
Sure.
installed a propane generator in the floorboard that he had to modify the truss for, and this is all the stuff that he loves doing anyway.
Sure.
So
But
yeah,
when
we'll
the
see.
world goes to shit and the
It'll be good.
AI takes
He's my
over,
favorite
he's going to
uncle
do
though,
just
so
fine.
it'll be something.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
It's going to be
That's
like,
for sure.
you want to come live off the grid? I know how to do that.
He's not quite that kind of person.
Oh, he'll figure it out though.
He just likes outdoors and toys
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
He sounds
And if it goes fast and
resourceful
has
enough.
wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's going to do just fine in the Twisted Metal future.
honestly, yes. Honestly, he would be one of the motherfuckers that like would run the trucking convoy.
Yep.
You know, because he's the only one who knows how to
now
work
that
on
I've
those
seen
kind
that,
of
I know
engines
the
and shit.
reference. So
Right. Had we talked about that on the show last time? You hadn't seen it, right?
I hadn't seen it the last episode we had. And then I binged it. We'll get to that when we get to entertainment.
We'll save that on entertainment.
But,
oh my God. Do you have more life stuff? I know I've said a lot of stuff.
I do have one more life thing. And today we actually had, for the first time in the 18 years I've worked for my company, we had an open house.
Okay.
Basically bring your family to work and you can kind of show off what you do.
Okay.
And they had a bouncy house for the kids and face paints, and they brought in like food stuffs. But yeah, it was kind of nice. Like my wife, I've been working for this place for damn near 20 years, and her extent of knowledge outside of the parking lot has been the occasional like FaceTime call while I'm at one of my workstations.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, oh, hey, hold on a sec. And then I walk away, so we can have a conversation. So it was kind of nice to, actually show her the layout when I say, when I come home and I bitch about my work and the conditions that I have to work in, she has like no frame of reference. Like, okay, you're outside. I don't know what that means. So she actually got to walk through the shop today. And then both my girls got to come and see some of the parts that I actually work on. So it was fun. Like the kids were genuinely interested, especially my oldest. She's just fascinated. They were doing a whole thing because we have a machine shop. And the head of that department was talking about, these are the 5-axis machines. They're 5-axis computer controlled. And she's just like, eyes agape, mouth agape the entire time, eyes wide open, watching the presentation. She's just like, that's really cool. And I'm like, yep. And I'm the last end of that process, where once they machine all these things out and then we walk through the assembly department, they put them all together, then they come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I test them and then we ship them out. And she's like, oh. And there's always that one part that I think I've told you before on other casts. Like we walk out on a tarmac to get on the plane instead of going through like a skyway. And if you look under the plane, there's these ovals under the wings. And that's one of the parts that we make.
Okay.
And I've always shown my wife those. I'm like, that's one of my valves. That's one of them. And there's like 4 of them along each wing. And so today I actually got to show her the other side of the valve that you can't see because it's up in the wing.
Cool.
So, yeah. Good times. Little moment of pride, like actually being able to show my wife what I do and have her go, okay, I kind of get it now.
Good. I am actually genuinely interested. I know I'm like yawning and my eyes look fucking
no, I get
dead.
It is 10 o'clock at night, Tim, and it's been a freaking week.
Yeah, and I've been getting up at 5, which is usually not my normal.
Yeah.
Normal hour.
That's my normal clock in.
I've been going to bed an hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I clock in at 5 every day, have for 18 years. So yeah, when you're not used to it, there's a reason I tend to sleep my weekends away.
Dude, I fucking wanted to do that last night. Like I had a bath. I fucking had libations. I was all chill. I was rested. I think I finally conked out at like 1:30 because my bath ran long. I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna prune the fuck up in this fucking bath. Because normally I am a bath taker. I'll take a bath
Mhm.
after work, you know. At least the last couple months after work has been like 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon.
Do you light
Like
candles and read a book?
generally, I mean, I'll do whatever depending
Treat
on the
yourself,
mood.
little Epsom salt.
Either, I'll watch something or it'll be like YouTube. I think I've said before in the show, I have a ritual of reading Rent a Girlfriend manga, which comes out weekly. It used to be Mondays, and now it's like fucking Wednesdays or Thursdays or some shit
Mm.
now. I don't know why. But I used to have a ritual of doing that and then being in the bath and reading that. But it's been on hiatus for like the last like fucking weeks. Whatever. On that, or I'll play cell phone games or listen to a podcast or whatever. So yeah, no, I do stuff in bath. And yes, I not all the time, especially during like summer, but when it's cooler, I'll do candles and stuff. Cause like in summer, it's like, all right, well, the heat of the bath is enough. I don't need fucking to be surrounded by a seance level of candles. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying
you
to send
you
myself
you
fucking back in
haven't you
time,
haven't reached the age where you have to, raise the dead.
See, I'm so tired. I literally thought that was a euphemism for getting an erection.
That is exactly
But
what that was.
what is?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
All right. Well, let's
Yeah.
spin it.
Well, yeah, let's fucking yeah. All right. Vidgy games.
Video games.
Vidgy games.
What you been playing, Tim?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Especially this week. I played more prior week. I guess the prior week cleaned out Pikmin 3 Deluxe again. Finally started Pikmin 4, which is the new one that came out this year. That's and did I talk about it last show that it's powered by Unreal Engine 4
Yes.
and that was strange for Nintendo?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I finally got to play Pikmin 4. I'm a Pikmin fan. I obviously replayed all the games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably one of the only 10 people in the world that play fucking Pikmin Bloom on their phone religiously. Pikmin 4, not kind to the Pikmin fan that just played all fucking 3 previous entries.
In what way?
Like Pikmin 4, I feel like, first of all, I'm not very far in the game. I really only got about 2 play sessions in with it before I got too busy with other things, or I'd come home and I was too tired or whatever. But what I mean by that is, I launched into Pikmin 4 having literally just beat Pikmin 1 HD, Pikmin 2 HD, and Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which are all their bare bones remakes, right? I know how to fucking play Pikmin. I do not need the game to pause, have 2 little dumb fucking dingleback characters be like, oh, you look over here and you press A to whistle to get the Pikmin towards you. And now that I've shown it to you in text and a small little GIF video, I want you to do that in a fixed camera angle with only the buttons I tell you to fucking push when
Right.
I tell you to fucking push them. And you can't fucking skip it and you can't. And I'm like, bruh.
Right. Like I get tutorials.
Bruh.
Right. Make them
Like,
optional.
what it feels like to me is that the dev team for Pikmin 4, because my understanding is that it has been in development for about 4.5 years,
Mhm.
is when they were developing this game, the memo was, hey, this is going to be the first Pikmin game on Switch, and we're not planning on releasing any of the previous Pikmin games. So make sure people understand how to fucking play Pikmin.
Right.
And
And
then
again,
somewhere in there, they were like,
that.
hey, let's release all fucking previous Pikmin games
Right.
in their best forms.
Yeah. I respect a
And
good
then
tutorial. I
nobody got the
respect the
memo.
actual do the action, but yeah, make it skippable for the people that have possibly done that. You know,
Yeah.
and not the other, and the other hard right that I hate is like, have you played this before? We're turning off all tutorials, and it's like, well, I might need some help with some of the new functions of
Yeah.
this game.
I mean, and the further problem exacerbated is they give you like a fucking, space iPad thing
Mhm.
in the game, and it has the full list of all the different tutorial things that you can go back and relook at and stuff if you
Mhm.
need to. But I don't need to. All I needed to know was, okay, did the button mapping change? What can I not do
Right.
immediately or need an upgrade for later or whatever? Those are the things I need to know as a veteran Pikmin player. And then as a veteran Pikmin player, so as the series goes, um, since I take it you have no knowledge of the series other than the fact that it's existed for over
Yeah.
20 years.
I've
So
seen some gameplay on it.
It's
Yeah.
an RTS.
Yeah.
With you moving your character on the field and commanding things on the field.
Mhm.
It's Pikmin 1 is premised around you have 3 Pikmin, these weird little carrot things that have leaves on the top of their heads. Red, blue, and yellow Pikmin. Red Pikmin are immune to fire and fight good. Blue Pikmin can swim and don't drown, whereas other Pikmin do. And yellow Pikmin are very light and can be flung very far and also are immune to electricity. Then Pikmin 2 came along, they had that, and then they added purple and white Pikmin. Purple Pikmin are heavy hulking Pikmin, so they can like pick up heavier things. White Pikmin are immune to poison. Then Pikmin 3, they added rock Pikmin, so they can break glass or shatter crystal or break ice and can't be stomped by enemies and things. And pink flying Pikmin, which are
Mhm.
very weak in combat except for aerial, but they can fly, so they can float over water. And then Pikmin 4 introduces 2 Pikmin that I haven't seen yet, but I know about them because of trailers. Ice Pikmin, and then I guess a nighttime glow in the dark Pikmin.
Okay.
So we have 9 Pikmin, right?
Sure.
And
And
typically
they basically
you're
took the rock paper scissors aspect and expanded on it, much like they've done with Pokemon.
sure, sure. Um, and so you have a limit. You've always had a limit of you can have 100 Pikmin in your squad of any color variety. So it's like, okay, well, all right, we're going to take 10 of these, we're going to take 25 of these, blah, 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 till you got 100, and you go out and you do your shit.
Mhm.
And generally, it's a little bit different in each game, but generally, you are fighting weird space creatures and then going and collecting um, treasure or fruit um, for various reasons. The first 2 games, because your company's broke, you're trying to get out of debt. Third game, you're largely collecting fruit because your ship crashed and you don't have any fucking supplies, so you're gonna starve to death if you don't find fruit and make fruit smoothies or some shit. And then the third or the fourth game, I guess, doesn't have any of that, and you're looking for the crew of the first game because they have crash land and there's like a little thing whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, but the thing that is absolutely irritating to me about Pikmin 4, all the other games you could always mix and match whatever the fuck you wanted for your Pikmin.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be under 100. You can only have 3 types with you at a time in Pikmin 4,
Okay.
which is not how all the other fucking Pikmin games work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an arbitrary limitation, and I hate it. They also removed some user-friendly features. Like, so Pikmin 3 had this thing where you could open a map and you could basically point your player character to some point on the map and he would wayfind his path there.
Mm-hmm. A la
Um,
StarCraft, you could do that as well. Yeah.
yes, exactly like that. So as far as I can tell, they took that out. They limit your thing to 3 types of Pikmin in a squad. Now, I want to put that with the huge asterisk of, well, I've only played the thing for a handful of hours on 2 different nights. It's possible there's upgrades later. It's possible I'm in the early stages and they're just limiting it. But for right now, I feel pretty stifled.
Sure.
Well,
have you run into a scenario where having more than 3 different types of Pikmin would have been advantageous?
sure.
Okay.
So Pikmin over the games has had a couple of different things. So usually there's always like there's a couple bunch of maps. You can go around the maps. And then Pikmin 2 had underground caverns that you would go to that were kind of like stage based, and you're going deeper and deeper until you found the treasure.
Mm-hmm.
They removed that in Pikmin 3 in favor of like kind of integrating the underground into kind of the overworld. So it wasn't necessarily underground, but they had like in caves sections that would lead to other parts of the map.
Okay.
And then this one has brought the full stage underground thing back, which was originally seen in Pikmin 2. But Pikmin 2 had a thing where when you got up to the entrance to it, it would say, hey, you're predominantly going to need red, yellow, or white Pikmin in this. So maybe it's a good idea to have those in the squad because you're not going to get very far if you don't have those in your squad.
Sure.
This doesn't have that. So if you go in and you go down and you're like, oh, well, I need this one particular Pikmin color. And I got to go all the fucking way back. I can't waypath my way back. So I got to manually fucking haul my ass out of this cave and haul my ass across the map and haul my ass back to the fucking thing to then swap out shit, which is just
annoying.
Just dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they made that decision, other than the fact reinforcing my first notion of, well, it's kind of designed to be somebody else's first Pikmin.
Right.
And having a limit of 3 means you're not juggling that much. So it's like, okay, fine, whatever. Sure.
Okay.
One more negative I'll throw at it before I get to the couple of the good things. Again, not very far into the game. Yeah, the loading times, man, holy fuck. They have some long ass loading times. Like some
long.
Switch is running an Unreal Engine 4 game ass loading time. Very un-Nintendo like.
Right.
That is fucking for sure. But enough about the bad parts. On the flip side of that, graphics are really, 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 really fucking good. It's a very nice, fancy. Once it's loaded, it runs really smoothly. Unreal Engine 4 game. There's like no pop-in. It looks great. Lots of textures, lots of details. Mm-hmm. Fancy Unreal Engine 4 shadows and all that sort of shit. And then another big plus is the overall game speed of like everything is substantially faster,
Okay.
which is great. So while it is tedious to come out of the cave because you're fucked by colors, you're running across the ground, picking things out, doing things. It's generally just all way faster. It's too early to tell if the pathfinding of the AI is better or worse in this game. Obviously, the prior 3 games ran on a proprietary Pikmin built engine, going from the GameCube era to the Wii U. One might assume that Unreal Engine has better pathfinding than perhaps a Nintendo made game, but I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see.
Or if
Too
that
early to-
pathfinding is built into the code itself of the game.
Right. Yes, I imagine there probably is a toolbox in Unreal Engine 4 for pathfinding. But we'll see. We'll see. Verdict's out on that. Music. This is actually one of the few times I actually have a gripe about Nintendo games. And I'm not saying Pikmin 4 actually as the gripe. Pikmin 4 actually has amazing music. Like it's fully orchestrated and or synthesized. And I say that saying, all the previous Pikmin 4 has had synthesized music. But they also have like a what's the fuck, god, I can't think of the instrument. That theremin?
Okay.
Theremin?
Yeah, the Star Trek.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that thing.
The original series.
Yeah, they have on purpose the other Pikmin games like old school sci-fi kind of sound.
Right.
So they'll have like some really like old school sci-fi sounds mixed with like some calming kind of ambient nature sounds and synths and stuff, and that's kind of been their music. And having played all the fucking prior Pikmin games, like Pikmin 1 through 3, not my favorite not my favorite Nintendo soundtracks. In fact, I played them with the sound lowered, and I played my own soundtracks because of how repetitive and slightly annoying the music scores for
sure.
that. Pikmin 4 largely alleviates this by they have some fully orchestrated versions of some of the old tunes, and then they just have better music. They just have better music across the board. It feels better so far. I'm like, yeah, I can listen to this while playing.
It should not go without saying that kind of stuff can make or break a game. Like StarCraft, if the music was bad,
StarCraft has great music.
It has great music. But that's what I'm saying. Like if that music was bad, that game would just be like.
It's funny you mention that because that was on my playlist for playing fucking Pikmin.
Oh yeah. There were plenty of times that I downloaded the StarCraft soundtrack, and that would just be my daily just working track. My soundtrack for the day.
Good shit. Let's go Terran Workforce.
Right. A little twang.
But it's also appropriate for Pikmin because it is an RTS. So you're doing RTS things and resource gathering and all that sort of stuff. So,
right.
That sort of stuff. So I played that. I did a little bit of Destiny this week.
I have not played the new story yet.
Did you? I guess
I did
Destiny.
watch
We'll just do Destiny right now.
Yeah, I did watch the showcase.
So they showcased the final shape and kind of the general direction that they're going. So 2 things. Number 1, I watched the 2-minute trailers for the final shape and the Season of the Witch, and there's one other thing I think. I watched those trailers before I saw the showcase, and my knee-jerk reaction to what they showed on the final shape was me making a meme of Avengers Infinity War the scene where Captain America and Thor meet again for the first time, and Thor looks at Captain America and says, "You know, I see you copied my beard." Except I slapped a picture of Halo Infinite on Thor and the final shape on Captain America, and I
Hmm.
said, "I see you've copied my abstract floating islands filled with remnants of games past."
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Which I think is still accurate, but I will say after seeing the showcase, there's more to it than just
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think for a lot of people, myself included, if they don't nail the final shape, and this this may be a dumb statement at this point because I've said many times before,
Hmm.
yay, Destiny. I am done with Destiny.
Right.
Yay, I'm done with Destiny. Um, but I think since it is the end of the story that started in 2014, um, if they don't nail whatever it is that they want us to go through for this finale,
Mhm.
um, I'll
Especially
I'll
with
I'll
games
be
like
done.
Starfield coming out and Baldur's Gate doing as well as it's doing, and there's places to go now.
Well,
Which
to which I'll say,
10 years ago when
playing the
Destiny
Destiny
was the
advocate.
game, that wasn't really like you could not get that kind of experience anywhere else, and that probably held
I mean, that was
true.
never true when Destiny came out, though.
A looter shooter.
I'm sorry, Borderlands
eh,
existed?
yeah, for people on PlayStation.
No. Borderlands was on all consoles, PC,
Was it?
Mac. It was
Okay.
on the fucking Vita, for Christ's sake. So, yes, Borderlands.
Okay. But was that also first person or was that third person? I never played it.
Bruh.
I never played it.
So, the type of game Destiny is a Halo shooter
Hmm.
with Borderlands.
Okay.
That's what Destiny is and has always been.
Okay.
Like, and people fucking forget this.
Obviously. Right.
uh, do they do the looting shooting part better than Borderlands? Absolutely. Are they the same exact type of game? Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like the major difference between from a gameplay standpoint and Borderlands is and not even to be mean to Borderlands, but it's just the truth. Like they have less great shooting. But Borderlands has about 100 million gazillion 1,000% more guns
Sure.
and loot to actually loot.
Yeah.
They also have more content. Like if you were to
This is
just
and this
take,
is something I've heard about Borderlands that I wish Destiny would
yes,
do more often is because there is a million bazillion jillion different types of guns. Some of them are worthless, and that's
sure.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, another thing, like the thing about Borderlands, like they always have more content than Destiny.
Hmm.
They just do, straight up. Like I think if you were to take the entirety of just Borderlands 2, like as a complete collection or whatever the hell they call their complete collection that has like 8 DLCs or something
Sure.
with it.
Hmm.
If you were to do everything in that in comparison to it, you might be almost as much content as all of Destiny 1 and 2. Like that's how meaty Borderlands 2 and its DLC is.
Okay.
I've not played Borderlands 3, so I can't speak to that. Um, but yeah, Borderlands 2, giant. Very fun game. 4-player co-op, looting stuff. Um, the other thing that that Borderlands does that obviously Destiny doesn't do is Borderlands is, revels in its over the top Mad Maxian
Right.
style that they do. Again, can't speak to Borderlands 3, didn't play it, but Borderlands 2, pretty fucking funny of a game. I've said before on the show, it has one of the best DLCs of any video game I have ever played in my entire fucking life. To the point where, in my understanding, in Borderlands 3, they made it its own fucking video game. Like they did their own fucking spin-off, which started in this DLC in Borderlands 2, but it was Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep is
Right.
the DLC from Borderlands 2, I
And now
believe.
it's
Don't quote me on that.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland is the
Yes, that's the new one. But they had the balls to do, oh, it's Borderlands, but you're in like a parody of Dungeons and Dragons. And so like while you're playing this first person shooter, looter shooter thing, like someone's narrating, but she's like fucked up in the head, and so like in the game while you're playing, you're like, oh, and then you're on the docks, and then it was night, and then somebody will interrupt her and be like, but didn't you just say it was day a second ago? And she's like, oh, sorry, it's day, and then like the time changes and stuff, like right as you're standing there, like in the game, you know. And so like it happens constantly, so you'll like be doing one thing,
right.
and then it'll
Lots of
be
appropriate bad fourth wall breaks. Yeah.
super fucking hilarious. Like I think there's at one point they're like, yeah, and then you're like going there to like stop the evil wizard in the highest tower and get the ring, the only ring in the, and they're like, hold on, isn't that Lord of the Rings? And they're like, fuck, you're fighting a magical unicorn that shoots laser. Like, and it changes like right in front of you, like
Right.
as it happens, you know.
It's a good parody. I like it.
Like
Okay.
it's hilarious. Like it is super super fucking funny.
Well, I'll say this: if Destiny ends up like laying an egg, maybe I'll go back and play those.
I mean, two is obviously dated. I don't know.
I'm expecting them to be dated.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, they just remastered Quake 2 for God's sake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. I will say though, even though onto a Borderlands tangent, Borderlands has fucking amazing music.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have very very good music. I think it was the Assassin's Creed guy, Jasper Kidd, Chris Velko, who's done everything from Agent Carter to Mass Effect. Like there's like there's like 8 composers or something, and they Borderlands soundtrack is a good soundtrack to just have. Very good shit. Very good shit. They're very good stuff. And actually, aren't they having a live action movie? It's got like Jack Black and Kate Blanchett and shit. I think they are.
Borderlands?
Yes, Borderlands.
I mean, it would make sense if they wanted to do one.
Yeah, my understanding is it's like in the can because it was supposed to come out this year, but writer strike. Anyways, going back to Destiny bullshit. Final shape. We're in the Traveler. I'm less disappointed now that they've revealed the totality. Well, not the totality, but at least a longer look. So I encourage people who saw the trailer like me and were a little disappointed to check out the full presentation because there's indeed a lot more details. We're getting 3 supers that I'm meh on.
Right.
But I hear my Destiny friends talking about them. It's like, whoa, but if we do this and then this and then that might be cool.
So the Titans got Shadow Shot, basically. But you can pick up the axes.
Your other players can pick up the axes. You can't pick up the axes.
I believe you can as well.
So all of the supers does stuff that helps.
Yeah, they're all support class,
team, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, is that sound bleeding through the mic?
What sound?
No? Good.
Okay.
Okay. Brock's watching apparently some very, very loud anime next door.
Oh, is he trying to mask the I'll check about wow.
Couldn't tell you. If I hear it, audience, you'll know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling optimistic about the final shape.
Yeah.
Having seen everything, like I don't feel warded off. I'm feeling optimistic. But
Here's
again,
my take on it.
I don't know.
I'm in it for the 10 years. I'm in it to see the end of the story, and then from that point on, and I believe I told you this in the Discord. I'm not really sold on the episodic model.
Oh, that they're going to the 3
Well,
episode thing.
right, and it's by making it episodes, you're not necessarily married to that 3 per year,
I don't know, man.
right? Whereas when you say seasons and everyone
At
knows
this
there's
point,
4
I don't know
seasons in
what
the
the fuck
year,
their technical definition is between seasons and
right?
episodes.
You know, and even they
Because their
admitted
seasons
they
kind of
couldn't
feel
they
like
could
episodes
yeah,
anyway.
they couldn't keep up with that pace. So again, switching to 3 a year will give them more time, but then even the seasons we're getting now tend to like you get a good meaty bunch for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're like, well, now we've got to twiddle our thumbs and just keep replaying shit until the next one comes. Now you're going to
But I
reduce
mean,
that to 3 a year.
but here's the thing though. Let's say the final shape is everything we want it to be
Hmm.
in a finale
Hmm.
to the story. They've said in the thing, this is the end of the Late Darkness saga. It will be the finale.
Right.
You will fight the Witness in the raid,
Hmm.
not the campaign.
Hmm.
What? So okay, so we do the campaign, we fight the Witness, presumably, and I don't know, maybe we don't win. I don't know. Maybe a little fucking
Right.
who knows? Who knows? But like it's gonna end,
Hmm.
right? There will be some final conclusion to everything. Hopefully it's grand and amazing and they've saved the best for last. But after that point, what is there that is going to pull someone like you or me into even giving a shit about these episodes
Right.
that are going to come after?
And we've basically beaten all the baddies. We're gonna get rid of what's her name, uh, this season of the witch, seventh sister. I forget her name. Zivu
Ziva Wrath.
Arath. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so, she's gone.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, basically, she should be. Apparently we didn't
That's
get it.
what the story is
Apparently we didn't
telling
get
us
enough of
towards,
wearing
but we'll
Crota's ass
see.
like a hat, so we get to do Crota all over again.
I'm actually excited about that.
I am too,
To
and
be totally honest,
I was very excited because everyone was like, they wouldn't do Crota again. Crota was just a glorified strike, and they went, you know what we're doing? We're doing fucking Crota, and I'm like, ah,
well, and I thought that was interesting that they didn't say a goddamn thing about what was remastered in it, other
mhm,
than that they're doing it.
right,
And I'm like, okay, interesting.
sure,
So I guess,
but yeah, like, and
I'll
again,
find out 2 weeks from now because I'm not going to be playing it next weekend because I'm doing grandma shit.
once we get to the end of whatever this witness thing is, like what baddies are left besides the
I mean, that's the other
Vex?
thing. Like, as a writer, when you have put upon as your story goals, the personification of the ultimate evil and the personification of all that is light and good,
Mm-hmm.
so you really want to be reductive, God and Satan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, okay, that's all right.
Right.
You can't Like the only thing I could think of, and I don't know if it's that interesting of a poll, is like, well, okay, we know the travel. Somebody created the Traveler. Who made the Traveler? You know,
Right. Are we gonna get a voice line at the end of the raid from Bill Nye, the speaker?
I mean that'd be weird since he's dead, but who knows?
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, that's also true since Kate's dead, and he's obviously
Hmm.
in the thing, which I am glad for Nathan Fillion returning for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't. It's like you can't go to the top and expect there to be more top,
Right.
you know? And it's like, okay, well, sure.
And I mean,
But
is there stuff that's past that point? I mean, could we still do stuff with the Reef and the Queen, or
sure.
right? And I don't know if Crow's his journey is going to be resolved because he's not really part of Light and Dark at this point,
I don't fucking know,
right?
and I don't really give a shit about that character.
Right, and again, the only baddies that are really left is the killer robots from the future or the
That is
past
also true.
or whatever they want to construct in their
Yes.
right. So
Yeah.
I yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. This is the same reason I keep watching all the Fast and Furious movies, even as bad as they've gotten. I'm in it till the end. I'm in it till those final credits roll. And I'm like, we're done with this.
Right.
So screw you,
Well,
Bungie. You got me. You got me for the past 10 years.
yeah, I'll buy it closer to
Right. I
fucking
I didn't pre-order the last one. I'm not going to pre-order
I
this
don't
one.
I don't
And
need to
that's the
pre-order until
first.
like it's a month out or
Yeah, that
whatever.
was the first time that's happened. Where it's like, I bought it the day it came out and still managed to get the pre-order bonuses because it was like it's launching in an hour, and I'm like, fine, I'm buying it.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess we'll be shelling out money for that. But speaking of epic space that doesn't require you to shell out additional money, No Man's Sky has had its yearly anniversary update called No Man's Sky Echoes, which actually was teased a whole last 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
actually, shortly after we posted the prior podcast, which was interesting because they'd never done that. Like their form of marketing had
They're
been
playing like the big boys lately.
their form of marketing previously had been lead developer and creator and engine architect and owner and CEO and all the things, Sean Murray, tweeting out a couple of emojis to represent what the
Hmm.
update is. And people go crazy for a couple of weeks and then bam, hits you whenever the fuck it felt like it. And then they literally just said it's going to be called No Man's Sky's Echoes. And then there was a trailer showing all the YouTuber reactions for all of their 20 some plus 7 plus, I don't even know the number anymore, like updates they've had over the past 7 years. um but yeah, it came out 2 days ago. I actually had an opportunity to play a bit of it. I didn't get to experience any new content because I need to find it. But I did play it again for a couple of hours. But No Man's Sky Echoes, as it's called, available on all platforms as of this podcast. They did an interesting thing where they included a brand new race, which they have never done before in No Man's Sky. They have always had three races of aliens:
Hmm.
the Gek, the Korvax, and the Vy'keen. And so they added a new race called the Autophage, which is curious because they look like some Mad Max ass looking, ironically, Borderlands ass robots with like magic staffs or some shit.
Right.
I
Big
don't
big ass
know.
walking stick.
I don't know at all because I need to dig into it because I haven't discovered them. Whereas I've had 7 years to know all the lore about the other three races. Um, but yeah, so they've given new guns, holo display, new campaign mission, weapon trading, which is a big one that we've wanted in the community. New expedition, which is um, their kind of monthly activity, which is a thing that the community completes together,
Right.
um, which you can do in a month. And they've been doing new ones pretty periodically, and then when they don't, they rotate some of the old ones back in for people who missed it, because it is a limited time. It's like, okay, this is the one for the month. You have a month to do it. Can't do it in a month. Too fucking bad. Moving on. But they added. I don't know the exact details of this. I'm actually just reading the tweet. Basically, space combat depth. Don't know what that means. Torpedo frigates, and then this was a big one because it was shown in the trailer. They have Death Star style trench runs for some of the large
Yeah, I saw that in the
enemy freighters, and I'm
trailer
like,
that I just watched.
that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm down with that. There's going to be new Twitch campaign coming soon. They added a new faction, the Pirate faction, which I'm going to call a little bit of a fib on as a longtime No Man's Sky guy. We fucking had a pirate faction like 4 years ago, and then they took it away because it was dog shit. I'm not gonna even lie. They were right. It was bad. So they re-added the pirate faction, so we'll see how they've redone that now. And then they made specific to note that it's going to have PSVR 2 and Switch visual improvements, which is not terribly surprising because at this point they can just do whatever the fuck they want with No Man's Sky, and I guess it can run on everything from the toaster that's the Switch to they've got it on Mac now. I saw another announcement that I guess it's also coming to the Mac App Store. I guess previously it was only on Steam.
Do you think No
Um,
Man's Sky, once they just do this long enough, ever license that engine?
I don't know. I've said before, so Sean Murray, um, he's created many game engines.
Mhm.
In fact, he helped create the game engine that powered Grand Theft Auto 3 through San Andreas.
Mhm.
And
Which again is a pretty robust engine.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe. Um, I think the thing that I've heard from everybody, since No Man's Sky probably has the most procedural tech in it of any game engine, is that it's really difficult to wrap your head around procedural generation. And then when you do, it's amazing, but you also have to think completely the opposite way of the way you would normally design video games. And we know Starfield is going to have some procedural tech in it. I can also point out that actually the fuck, I'm forgetting the name of the game engine. It's the one that powers Death Stranding and the Horizon games
Not
Sony
Unity.
owns.
Is it Unity? No.
No, it's a custom engine, but it's super super fucking powerful. I can't. I'm drawing a complete blank
Frostbite?
on that engine. Nope, that's EA's.
No. Yeah. Okay. I'm
Um,
sure you could Google it.
fuck. I'm gonna have to Google it. I'm just gonna Google it. Horizon game engine. Decima. That's right.
Okay.
And Decima is a really fucking good engine. But it also uses procedural generation specifically for details, actually. So like it will procedurally generate like grass, trees, like all of that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So none of that stuff is actually placed by hand in the game. Yet the game looks super handcrafted. So at the very least, for a part of procedural generation, they really have a handle on that in that engine. And then obviously there's whatever you want to call. I think it is called the Bedrock engine for Minecraft,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is obviously procedural generation because it's Yep, that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I remember years and years ago, Sean Murray talking about that No Man's Sky can change exponentially the more powerful a CPU you get. Because my understanding is that it's a super heavy usage on the CPU because it's just procedurally generating everything.
Hmm.
But they've like whittled it down to VR headsets, which obviously are super demanding, to the Switch, to Mac architecture now, which isn't necessarily whittling down since Mac architecture is really good. But it's just like, it's like, well, I mean, if it's already running on the Switch, like, when's the iPhone and Android version
Right. And
coming? At this point, it's already on ARM. It's
I
already
think,
on
yeah,
two
I
different
think that
versions of
has
ARM.
I think the whole multi-core thing now that everything is like robust multi-core, things like procedural generation can be managed
Well,
without just overloading. Like you can have a core running the game, and then you could have a core just doing that procedural generation without just tanking the system.
I mean, I think the question is, No Man's Sky is entering its 8th year, which is
Right.
awesome. And it's on every fucking major platform
Hmm.
now,
And
except for
has been.
iPhone
Yeah.
and Android. Those are the last ones, and it's like, well, it has to be coming.
Right.
It has to be being worked on. I imagine since they already have the Mac one done, that it'll come to iOS probably first, and then the Android
Sure.
one probably thereafter, or maybe simultaneously. I don't know.
Or if at
But
all, it could be a,
yeah,
a
if at all,
Qualcomm
that's it's
thing.
purely speculation. But it's like, when it launched originally as a PlayStation exclusive, and then it came to Xbox, and again, then it came to other PC stores besides Steam, and then it came to Mac, then it came to Switch, then it came to every fucking VR headset under the fucking sun.
Hmm.
You know, excuse me. Um, yeah, but my question is though, at what point, much like, there's a cutoff for making games for the old platforms. Like, at what point does No Man's Sky version number stop on the PlayStation 4
Hmm.
and the Xbox One series? Like, at what point does that occur?
Well, at what point can they no longer run them? Is the question.
You know, and that's the thing. I don't know, because if you'd ask maybe even Sean Murray 4 years ago, could this shit run on Switch? He'd probably be like, no fucking way, man, or
Right.
something. But then he figured it out. So I don't.
Yeah, it could very well be that No Man's Sky becomes the next can it run Doom? Can it run Skyrim
I
meme?
mean, I think they're, they're, for lack of a better term, targeting like the old Java version of Minecraft where it's
Hmm.
on everything.
Yeah. So as long as it can run at
You
least
know,
in some sort of visual fidelity that's acceptable. Again, if I'm running a last gen console and a next gen game comes out and says, "We'll still let you play it at 1080p, maybe 60 frames.
hmm
You're not going to get the DLSS, you're not going to get the lighting, and that's not our fault, but we'll still let you play it." I'm going,
sure,
"Thank you,
and
here's
we're
my money."
yeah, we're already seeing that, because they already had their next gen update
Hmm.
2-3 years ago
Yeah.
for No Man's Sky, and it was pretty substantial. And then obviously those next gen updates didn't come to PS4 and Xbox One, and obviously those are not in the Switch version.
Hmm.
But all the features,
Right.
apart from online multiplayer for Switch,
Yeah.
which they said from the
The
get go
the UI
can't
enhancements.
happen,
Yeah.
don't have the RAM for it.
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know. I don't know. It's certainly a question,
So
because like they just keep updating the fuck out of it.
yeah, and like I said, like as long as it runs on it, I don't think they'll axe out the older gen stuff. It's gonna have to come down to a point where it's like we can't innovate on this game anymore and still have it run on the old. Sorry, we're cutting
Well,
it off at this point, and you're sandboxed.
and
Here's how you make
as
your own server. If you want
well,
to
and
keep
as a
running
longtime
this.
No Man's Sky guy, I think several years ago, I remember they had even mentioned the possibility that maybe there would be a No Man's Sky 2.
Hmm.
I'm dying. I need a libation. Can you vamp or talk about whatever you've been playing? Thank you.
As Tim goes away. No, if they're gonna make a 2, like, I don't think they need to make a 2. They're doing so well with the existing uh, model that they're running that I don't know. I guess you do it like Destiny did a Destiny 2 when they ran out of being able to support the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So the excuse of, well, we're going to reset everything and we're going to, uh, run it for the next gen consoles kind of held true there. But even then, they didn't change. Like, they changed the engine enough, but not enough to. I think it was hurting. Oh, hi. It was hurting enough to begin with to justify the switch over to at that point the next gen consoles. Welcome back, Tim.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the text to get context clues as to what you're talking about.
Oh, let me
What
know
you
when you're
talking
caught
about?
up. Oh, I was, when
I
you.
can't scroll up, so what?
Yeah,
Fucking
I
tell
don't even
me.
have the subtitles on anymore. No, I was just saying, like, if there was a No Man's Sky 2 um, in the works, like, you would have had to have something like when they went from Destiny to Destiny 2, where you had to change the engine enough to like, it had to be at that point where this
But
just can't
here's
run
the
on older stuff.
difference.
No, I know there's a big
He-
difference, and the fact that he's been running this engine for how
the
long, and
difference is the main guy, the head guy
Mhm.
of Hello Games. He builds engines for fun.
Right, exactly.
And
So
he's built many, many, many game engines before.
yeah. So
And
again,
at this point
when
in
you
No
when you
Man's
get a No
Sky,
Man's Sky 2 is when that engine either can't be innovated on where he wants to take the game, or it can't be run, like, whatever he needs to do to get it to do something it
sure.
can't currently do keeps it from running on something older.
No, and I understand that, and that's a
So
totally logical conclusion.
yeah.
But at the same time, the engine has changed pretty much wholesale so much
Hmm.
over the
The,
years.
the guy's a coding
Everybody
genius.
forgets all the trailers that sold everyone on No Man's Sky before it was a thing you could buy. They lost that game engine in a flood, and they had to start over. They said, I think he said something like they had like 10% of it. They basically had to start from scratch
Right.
again, which he said actually was a blessing in disguise because they found better ways to do some of the things that they were
Right.
doing.
That they were locked into on the old engine.
Sure. And
Yeah,
then
right.
that first engine that launched, it wasn't cross platform.
Hmm.
And
Well,
not
again,
only
it's
did they
just,
make it cross platform, but then they made it cross
yeah, to bring
multiplayer,
it back to
cross
Destiny. This is
everything.
this is the thing when you're using an engine that's that old, 10 years old, and in the case of, the Tiger engine, you've basically coded yourself into a corner,
I mean, yes and no.
right?
We'll see what engine they use for Marathon.
Right. Well, it's supposed to be a modified version of the Tiger engine.
Well,
So,
but I actually watched a thing recently, actually on Destiny, where they went over the history of that. And I guess Destiny was originally prototyped in the old Blam engine,
mhm.
which is the original Halo engine.
Yep. Yep, until it
Didn't use it in the end,
right,
but
because it had forked enough that it became its own engine.
and much like the Slip Space engine, which has a couple of bones from Blam in it still, Tiger still has a couple of bones from Blam in it.
Right.
And it's so interesting to me that both Bungie and 343 couldn't code something new for fear of losing
The feel.
a
The
very
feel. Yeah.
specific special piece of quote unquote gaming magic
Mm-hmm.
that so far has not been able to be replicated by anybody else
Right.
in the shooter space. So that's very telling.
Mm-hmm.
Because neither 343 or Bungie, I think, even has the people that coded those things anymore.
Right.
Some wild shit.
Yeah.
And could you imagine, like, the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all this shit if we got into a thing down the line where it was just like, hey, there's still pieces of my code from 1999 in the Blam Tiger fucking Puma engine in 2030, and I haven't been paid for
I
it,
would laugh if they
but I
called it
did
Puma.
it, and they've been, yeah, thanks. Old reference,
Yep.
folks. You know, like, what happens when that becomes the case too? Because it's like, well, yeah.
Right.
Because in other huge pieces of software, like, you know, like the people who made the H.264 codec,
Right.
you know, my understanding is they're still paid for that shit.
Oh shit! Like
You know?
some of the stuff that Carmack worked on in
Fuck.
id Soft, right?
Sure.
How much of
I
that
mean,
code still lays
fuck.
in game after game after game after game that is iterated upon that tech?
Or taught people how to do that
Mm-hmm.
because they got their start modding Doom.
Right.
Same as people who started modding Source
Mm-hmm.
and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's a wild thing
Yep.
to think about. And I think you could spend an entire fucking episode going down the rabbit hole of game engines.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, again, kudos No Man's Sky doing innovative, amazing things with the bare minimum hardware. So,
Yeah, it I shouldn't be shocked.
how can you not be though?
And yet every goddamn
Yeah.
time I'm just like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking cool."
Yeah. How again, you're right. You shouldn't be shocked because he got a history of doing this. But
Yeah.
again, how can you not
Yeah.
be? Because again, it's just like I'm shocked that you did the last thing and you keep doing more and more. Like,
And like, yeah, their team is bigger than it was when they started
sure,
of 14 men. But at the same time, it's still fuck man, it's impressive.
you could have a 100 person engineering crew and you're in a Volkswagen Beetle. It's only going to go so fast, so you think,
Right?
right?
It's like build rockets.
Right. Put them on a Volkswagen
Add
Beetle.
guns.
Yeah, add guns.
Rip the tires off, put hover pods on. I don't know. No Man's Sky, it's good shit. There's probably a lot of stuff we could talk about in video games because Gamescom is going on currently. I didn't post a list. We don't have to get into it if you don't want to.
Yeah, not really. I've the few things that I've seen that came from the one night live.
I did not catch that, by the way.
I didn't either because it happened to be right after the Destiny showcase, and it's like is one thing that happened on my lunch break.
I started reading a synopsis and then I got pulled into other work things and forgot about
Exactly. It was like I had it on in my back pocket while I was working. I'm like, I can't now. That this because a lot of it's visual. I'm like, I'm hearing video game noises. Awesome. Video game noises, cheering. And here's our next game. Video game noises, cheering. Fuck this.
There's something I heard on a video because I saw a clip of it. So I don't know how accurate. Oh, fucking look it up. I'll stop being fucking cavalier, stupid shit. There it is. So Alan Wake 2 got delayed. It was originally due out October 17th, but it's now launching October 27th, a few weeks later. With the reason being, the CEO, creator, director, Remedy, bluntly stated, I saw it in a video, he said something to the effect of, "Gonna be honest, I don't want to release on the same week as Spider-Man 2. I'm gonna get the hell out of its way,
Right.
and we'll see you in a couple weeks."
Yep.
And I'm like, I've been waiting for Alan Wake 2 for over a decade. The resolution to that hell of a cliffhanger from so many years ago.
Sure.
I'm excited for it, but I sure as fuck ain't gonna play that over Spider-Man
Right.
2. And
And
not
again,
even
that's
to
just
be
that's one of those, you look at that guy and you go, much respect. Like, you knew
yeah.
you were up against a juggernaut. Let's not get Titanfalled.
It's the same thing as like every fucking goddamn time Horizon comes out,
Mm-hmm.
it always seems to come out next to a Zelda
Right.
release, and it cannibalizes their sales because
Yeah,
you
and
know
again, even if it's really good, it's just like you don't have that flash, that splash moment. Whereas now Alan Wake can go, okay, Spider-Man's got its thing. The people that are playing are going to play. Now we can have a day and go,
Mhm.
Alan Wake.
Sure.
So yeah, like again,
Yeah.
you only get one chance to make a first impression. And if your first impression is sitting under the foot of Spider-Man or a Zelda game, sorry, like it could be the best game in the world. You're not getting the attention.
Yeah, that's one thing that's a little concerning. I know it's coming out late September is the one and only expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Hmm.
But Starfield comes out next week,
Right.
so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, is that enough time? Basically a whole month. I don't know. We'll see. Are you gonna play Starfield?
Of course I am, because I don't have to pay for it. It could be a crap game, and thank you, Game Pass.
X. By all accounts, it sounds like it's not gonna be a crap game.
Right.
We'll know for sure on the 30th when the embargo releases
You're right.
lifts.
And again, Halo for Halo Infinite, for all of its blessings and curses, I'm glad I didn't draw money on that.
See, I have an inverse thought on that,
No,
but that's only because of all the Halo stuff behind me. Halo Wedding Ring.
had it not been on Game Pass, you bet your ass I would have dropped $60 on it.
I I feel like it was my civic duty to
Mhm.
have supported that in a direct monetary fashion. I didn't. I do regret it a little bit, but also not, because they are part of Big Daddy Microsoft
Mhm.
and I do pay them, and our subscription went up for Game Pass
Right. And
like a couple
it's
bucks the
not
other
like
month.
Big
So
Daddy Microsoft doesn't know you were playing Halo.
no, and
So,
that is true, and still continue to play Halo from time to time.
right. So yeah, they're getting their cut of that nut.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, like that had I spent the $60 on Halo Infinite and what I got, I would have been very disappointed. So,
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I would have been disappointed had I spent $60.
well, again, you're different. You Halo wedding ring, all the
I
memorabilia
was
behind you.
disappointed I couldn't play co-op on day one.
Yeah,
That is something for fucking sure I was disappointed in.
was dumb as fuck.
Mhm. I still haven't played the campaign in co-op,
Me
and
neither.
I would like to.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to do that. How many player co-op can you do?
4.
Okay.
Yeah. My understanding it's 4, and then depending on your mix of consoles, there is a visible sphere in terms of distance you can be from one another.
Okay.
It's fine.
Fine.
I can understand that.
I
Um,
can't, but yeah. fine. If that's the limitation, so be it.
I don't know this for certain, but my understanding is that's when you have a lesser box
Okay.
in the mix.
Shouldn't matter.
And on the larger boxes, it's there, but it doesn't matter because you would have to seek it out.
Okay.
It's a thing.
I
It's a
know.
thing in multiplayer games.
I know.
Not every game can be fucking Grand Theft Auto Online. Or, again, No Man's Sky.
Or Destiny or
Yeah, but no space in Destiny is as large as either of the last two things I said.
well, that is true.
So,
But I wouldn't say any space in Halo is as big as or bigger than any space in Destiny, as far as that's concerned.
I mean, I would argue Halo Infinite space is bigger than anything Destiny's done.
Okay. But could you traverse across the whole thing as a party?
I don't know because I've
Okay.
not fucking done it, Nate.
Fair. All right. I think we're good on video games for now.
Yeah, we're good on video games.
We'll have to
Spin.
catch up
Look at
with
that. We landed on entertainment.
on video games.
Surprise. Depression. Depression?
Depression.
And and a little bit of fun. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. We going to talk about the we're going to get the death
Which
list
one?
off the way, because that seems to be a running thing with the podcast lately.
Yeah, classic. Had we talked about the King of the Hill thing last time?
We did.
Okay.
Well, at least the death of Dale Gribble.
Oh, well, new data has come in that Johnny
Yes.
Hardwick, voice of Dale Gribble, had recorded new episodes
Yes.
before his death. Then unclear how many.
Mhm.
Unclear what the plan is moving forward.
Mhm.
Given the way animation has gone lately, my guess is that they will cast somebody new. Especially
Okay.
if they already have scripts and they're already mid animation and all
Sure.
that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Because that would be a lot to change. I did see this thing that you shared, the director of Ghostbusters Afterlife did a little Ghostbusters thing.
Oh yeah, the
in Unreal Engine 5.
Uh-huh. And
It was all right.
It was all right. I was, but again, this was in the Sony Creators Conference, right? This isn't a video game conference. This is a entertainment company conference with a movie IP, and this shit looks straight up video game.
Yeah, because they're like, here's the way I look at it is it looks really good, but it also doesn't look as good as the
Matrix trailer.
Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo. And I said to you, I said, well, dear Nate, the difference is the Matrix demo was done by an actual video game development studio, nay, a studio that is expert in using Unreal Engine. So for them to do something cinematic and playable and all this sort of stuff that it is, that they know how to do that. My understanding is the short film is done by film people.
Yeah, it showed.
And that's a big difference because they don't, and they obviously knew how to animate it and do different things and stuff with it, but they didn't know the ins and outs of it. So it looks okay.
Yeah. It's cool that they could do that. It's a cool show off of the tech that, and
yeah.
For anyone that didn't see the Matrix demo, it's just like, oh, okay, if this is what the studios can do with existing game engine tech, if you put a little effort into it, you can get Matrix level quality out of that. And again, I they're already doing it, so I don't know why you need this tech demo to say, oh look, here's Ghostbusters. Like
Yeah, I don't know either.
none of it made sense to me. Like if you're
Yeah, it
gonna
was
put that
weird.
out there, it better look damn good. And I was just like, okay.
Mm.
I was whelmed.
Well, here's something that's not going to make you go, okay, which is the sudden and sad
Fuck you.
cancellation of
Yeah, it
the
got Sarah Connor
professional.
chronicled after I said that shit last week about another fucking show.
Shouldn't you should maybe not say that
God damn it.
ever again
Yeah.
in my presence or in any form of communication ever. Peripheral season 2 is canceled at Amazon Prime Video. After getting a lucky renewal, is dead.
Yep.
I'm hoping somebody picks it up. Amazon was citing that it is a very expensive show to film, filming between London and wherever the fuck the other parts of the show took place.
Cool. Hey, Disney, HBO, one of you guys that like to do these big budget. Well,
I don't
HBO,
want HBO to touch it.
yeah, that's true because HBO actually
HBO can go fuck itself.
Yeah, after
which
what
it's
they
already
did to
doing a grand in grand
sorry,
fashion.
Max. Yeah,
I said what I said. Twitter.
yeah.
I'm hoping. I doubt a Netflix save because it's an expensive show. I'm hoping this is the rare case that Apple picks it up.
Sure.
Because something that Apple has been doing and doing it well is they've been doing these big grandiose sci-fis when nobody fucking else is. And the Peripheral kind of fits that fucking bill.
It does.
And it'll get them in the door with a Jonathan Nolan and his wife Lisa Joy, who are super, super fucking sought after in Hollywood. So fucking bite the bullet and do it, Apple.
Please.
Do it.
Please.
Fucking do it.
You'll earn a subscriber.
God damn it. So official statement from Nintendo, which they don't do a whole lot of. So super weird that this came out of the blue in a JPEG in a tweet. Nintendo officially said a couple of days ago, Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we will post at a future date.
Has that happened yet?
No.
Okay.
My imagining is that it'll happen sometime in October, because that's when the new Super Mario Wonder game is coming out.
Right, which will be the first Mario game in a long time without his voice credit.
Correct.
Right.
And very, very eagle-eyed fans, and I think I even said it in my show, he sounds a bit different in that game. Well, that's because it for fucking sure, 100% now, is a totally new voice actor.
And maybe that's what prompted this, was enough of the, the Reddit theory. Everyone going, that's not the voice. That can't be the voice.
I think, so I actually looked into this because I was curious about it. I found some documentaries and stuff, and I guess Charles Martinet was never originally supposed to voice Mario. And they hired him for a demo for Super Mario 64 at an E3 before it was called E3, when they weren't even planning to do recorded voice stuff for their stuff. And basically the demo was Charles Martinet, I guess, was doing was hired to do a like Alice in Wonderland, Oz behind the curtain thing, where public or not public in this trade convention thing, people could come up and there'd be this 3D Mario head, and then he would look at you and talk in real time because Charles Martinet's behind there talking
right
to them. And I guess as the legend goes, it was so entertaining that the execs at Nintendo noticed it and loved it. And then they decided right then and there, and is like, you know what? You're now the actual voice of Mario, and let's hire you. Let's get a contract, and we're gonna put your voice on Mario in the game.
Nice.
Like it wasn't ever supposed to be, hey, we're gonna do voices for the Nintendo 64 era thing.
Hmm.
It was never originally, that was not the plan.
They found a guy that
And
worked so well. They're
so
like, now we can.
and so my kind of thought on this is it's a very Japanese thing to be this respectful.
Hmm.
Like, okay, he's not voicing Mario. He's a voice actor. He's going to be a brand ambassador, whatever the fuck that is.
You go to the
Like,
trade
it
shows.
seems to me
yeah.
like they're just being very respectful of what he's given to them, and that he's not one of these other actors asking for crazy amounts of money or whatever the fuck. And they're just kind of giving him a lovely exit,
Right.
slow fade out for his career as Mario. That's
Mhm.
what it seems like to me. Is it sad? Sure. Was it always going to happen? Yeah, because I think Charles Martinet was quoted last year as saying, I plan to voice Mario until I drop dead.
Right. I mean, he's 67, so
Yeah. So, not saying it's happening anytime soon,
right.
but, it could. So that's sad. But Charles Martinet is very much still alive. And obviously, for anybody who grew up with Nintendo games in the last 20, 30 years, like, his voice.
Mhm.
Like, he has probably one of the most recognizable voices besides fucking Mickey Mouse. And that's not even being like hyperbolic. Like, I'm pretty sure that's factually true.
Right.
I think it's like there was a short list. I think it was Mickey Mouse, Mario,
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. Yeah, it's a very short list. Speaking of actors, to get a little more sad,
Speaking of voice actors,
Arlene
yeah.
Sorkin, who is the original voice of Harley Quinn, has died at the age of 67.
Ironically, what we were just saying, how old Charles Martinet is?
Yeah, I
Right.
guess so. I say original voice actor because the current voice actor for Harley Quinn, at least usually, is Tara Strong.
Hmm.
I know this story without even having to read anything because I am a Batman the Animated Series super fan.
Yeah.
Arlene Sorkin is the original voice. She was hired, and they based the character of Harley Quinn around this actress.
Right.
Interviews with Arlene Sorkin. She's one of those people who isn't doing a voice. That's what she sounds like, is Harley Quinn. And it is unfortunate that she has passed away. She voiced in the original first 4 seasons of Batman the Animated Series before she was replaced by Tara Strong in preceding animated endeavors, video game endeavors, all that sort of stuff. Tara Strong is not the voice actress of the Harley Quinn animated TV series that is done by comedian Kaylee Kuko, I believe is her name. But Arlene Sorkin and Tara Strong have voiced Harley Quinn the longest and have really created that character. And so the originator of that has passed away. And it's unfortunate because I think we just lost Kevin Conroy last year. It was the Batman voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just fucking sad, It's sad because I'm old and my childhood is literally dying before my eyes.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that much earlier. It's like you hit a certain age and this is what starts happening. Like your childhood
Yeah.
heroes start. Like I lost my Betty Whites, and I lost my Bob Barker today.
Yeah. At the very least, he was up there.
99, yeah. What
He
was
had
the meme I saw? Bob Barker got as close to 100 as he could without going over. I'm like, you son of a bitch, that's funny.
I hadn't heard that before, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's apropos,
Right.
as they say. Well, speaking of people dying,
Yeah. Oh, the other meme I saw was it was a TikTok and it was God in heaven, and you start hearing the yodeling music from Price is Right.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, reseguing. Speaking of people dying, so 2 weeks ago, I had an interesting technological experience. That's what I was going to talk about in technology, but I'll talk about it here as well. So, the animated film that nobody saw coming with all of the surviving cast um released. I saw on August 17th, Babylon 5,
Yes.
The Road Home. Um it was a pretty fucking fun time, I
Yeah.
must say. Not just because it's like the first new Babylon 5 thing in over 20 years, and it's with at least all of the actors who are still alive. But it was just fun. Um, like there, it was just a good time. It was nostalgic. It was some BS, no reason, timey wimey shit going through all 5 seasons of the fucking show, poking fun of itself. It was lovely. So it was lovely to hear the returning actors as an animated movie. The animation style was really good, really high quality. Um, kind of a 3D CGI, but made to look 2D kind of affair.
Mm-hmm. Almost
Um,
retro anime ish.
no, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's what I said
Okay.
30 seconds ago. It's not like there wasn't something that immediately stood out in my mind as how it was animated like. So I guess it's got that going for it in the
Mm-hmm.
animation department. Um, yeah. For those who don't know, they had some voice actors who were replacing some longtime characters whose actors had unfortunately passed away. Um, I thought all of them did actually a really amazing job,
Mm-hmm.
except for whoever played the character of Jakar. He had like a really good commanding voice, and like it was like a really good performance, but it just didn't, like the other actors. Like I was like, okay, I can feel a little bit of the previous actor and the inflection that they chose to use for that character, whereas Jakar was the only one that didn't quite hit the mark, just for me
Okay.
specifically. But I watched it in the weirdest fucking way possible. I watched it with my mother across the state using Apple SharePlay that I couldn't get it to work the way that I wanted to because I'd never fucking used that feature before. So I watched her in PIP on my iPhone while holding it on the couch. I watched the whole fucking movie with her that way.
Oh, jeez.
Dead ass arm and all. And apart from the fact that for some reason when I was playing the film, she couldn't hear me, but I could hear her totally fine. Worked really good. Worked really good. I think I'll do more things like that with my mom and folks and stuff. What a lovely feature, because I can start it on my device and then I can, I guess, beam it to hers without her having to purchase it.
Right.
And it's all perfectly in sync. And at least according to her, she said the quality looked really good and sharp to her, so she didn't have any like quality problem. And then if I hit pause, it hit pause on hers. She hit pause on hers, hit pause on mine. Yeah, it was fucking solid. What a solid experience. I would have preferred not to watch it on my phone. But unfortunately, as I found out later, because I couldn't get the feature working, and now I know why, because they haven't fucking built the feature yet. That's coming in this year's iOS update to be able to have the FaceTime on my phone, but have the video on the TV
hmm
and blah, 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 blah. So I think next time I'll probably do like how we're doing this podcast now at my computer using my microphone, using webcam and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So yeah. But no, it was good. There was it was a lot funnier than I expected it to be, given the general serious tone of Babylon 5. It had way more jokes than I thought.
Hmm.
Or would have expected. But it was lovely. The composers, because they had different composers, because the original composers retired and declined to come out of retirement just to do this little thing, which is fair. Composers actually were from they were the team of composers who did my Batman Beyond TV series, and they did a pretty respectable job doing the Babylon 5 score. They used, most important to me, and I know not all composers do this, which is unfortunate, they reused some of the same motifs and themes from the show. So it felt
Right.
like you're hearing the correct themes with the correct things.
Right. Like Giancino, like I always say, is he, like when he did the Jurassic Park stuff, it was his own stuff, but there was enough John Williams flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, I had to pause because my bone with Giacchino always sticks out in my eyeball like a sore thumb, because I actually love Giacchino. Like, I think his work in Star Trek is fucking amazing. His Doctor Strange score is really good. His Spider-Man scores are really good, except I won't quite forgive the sheer lack of not using Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man stuff in Spider-Man No Way Home. Because there was some moments, and I've seen some fan cuts of it, where people have overlaid the
Right.
music in points, and I'm just like, it makes that scene hit like 10 times harder.
was
You
it
should
a
have fucking just
licensing
done
thing,
that.
or was it, or
No.
yeah,
If it's all Sony, it's not a fucking licensing thing.
I guess. Meh, fair.
But
But
aside from
yeah,
that, yes, I do really like Giacchino. Actually, I heard his score recently. 3 weeks ago, I had a wild hair up my ass and had decided to see, just on a whim, Mission Impossible 3, and he did the score for that.
oh, nice.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Speaking of scores,
Oh,
I had zero interest in seeing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated.
oh yeah, the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross thing.
And like now I'm like, now I just want to watch it just to hear the soundtrack.
You know, I've heard many mixed things about that. I've heard it's fucking an amazing score. It's an amazing movie. I've heard it's neither of those things. I've heard this, that, and the other thing. I think it's just one of those things that probably when it comes to streaming, I'll just take a look at it.
Yeah.
And see for myself if it's a decent animated flick, or if the music's good, since that's quite a different thing for that duo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not that different.
Because they did Soul,
Ninja Turtle.
which they did Soul, which was a Disney,
Well, they did parts of Soul, because obviously the other parts is jazz.
Yes.
But no, they did the Watchmen HBO continuation series.
Okay.
So they've done comic book stuff before, literally. But yeah, no, they're a lovely team. I love when they get together. Good old 9-inch nails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, segue somehow back to Quake. I did it. I wrapped the show up in a bow. A lot of people forget that Nine Inch Nails did the music for Quake.
Yep, I didn't. I had the Red Book, the Red Book audio
Oh, bro,
on the
I feel
CD,
so
on the disc, right?
old. The Red Book. That was like the only.
Yeah, people are like, why do you have a video game in your car stereo? I'm like, play.
They're like, bitch.
Yeah, this is why. Like, this fits. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah. You're like, you know why? Oh, why? Because it's done by fucking Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
Oh, no shit.
Oh,
Like,
no,
yeah.
there was never a no shit. They were like, what Nine Inch Nails album is this? Like, it's a video game.
Yep.
Yeah, that soundtrack was so unapologetically Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a chance to check out the Quake 2 remaster.
I need to check that out too.
Although I hear it is absolutely fucking perfect.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually found out by happenstance, I was actually looking at something else, because I had heard that Star Wars Dark Forces is coming out this fall.
Same team, right? Is doing the remaster.
It's the same fucking team. They have like a custom engine that I guess has bits of the old Quake code in it, which unironically, that's what Dark Forces was built on. And yeah, and they're doing it. The team's called Night Dive. And they have a studio. It's called Hex or Hexen Engine or something.
Well, that would make sense.
But I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Good for them, you know? Because like that's something. Actually, just before we got on here, I had booted up Steam on a whim on my Mac, which is something I don't do often on my Mac. Aside from the fact that it has a totally new snazzy user interface, I was like, what the fuck? Steam changed their interface?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that. I was like, oh, it's nice, I think.
I guess.
It's hard to know exactly how I feel because Steam's changed its interface. Oh, you know, never.
Right.
But I was looking at what games would install, and I had the old Descent trilogy, and there's a game series I would love for not just the fucking really complicated to put together mod support that makes it all new and shiny and next gen and all that sort of shit, but I would love for fucking somebody to just fucking remaster that shit.
Yeah.
So I can play it with a fucking controller without 1,000 driver hacks and custom mappings and fan textures and fan mods and all the everythings. Just fucking do it. I have to say to that. But that's a very specific old gamer itch.
Yes. That you and I both share. Yeah.
That thing can that and obviously Overload, which I've talked about over the years.
But yeah, speaking of another game that I had the Red Book audio in my car, was the Descent soundtrack. Or
Descent 2 is the one for me. I remember as a kid when I finally ripped those to MP3, in my creative Zen Nomad 2 player that used the big old fat SD cards and used like one AA battery for some fucking reason, that fit underneath the fucking chip like a fucking weird sandwich. It didn't have track titles, so I'd always named them something weird, like whatever the fuck I thought they were called. And I think years later, I remember I'd had an oopsie with iTunes back when iTunes was a thing, and Grace Note had gotten the track names for them for the first time, and I was like, "What the fuck are these track names?" And I didn't know what they were because I'd been using my own names for these fucking tracks for over a decade, or actually probably at that point multiple decades. And I was just like, well, fuck this, delete, and I like re-put my old fucking
It's funny.
name for them, because I just knew what it
Right.
was. I was like, okay, this is the song I'm searching for. What do you mean that's not found? Why is it not found? How dare you change the name to the thing that you actually are? Oh God.
Alrighty. Ready to call it?
Uh, yeah, I'm ready to call it. I mean, I guess we could vaguely talk about some TV stuff. I finished Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. Thank God that cunt bitch didn't win. Um,
Oh yeah, we forgot the
uh,
yeah, you're watching Gordon Ramsay, or you watch Gordon Ramsay.
yeah.
I
What
watched
about?
Twisted Metal finally
Oh yeah,
on your
yeah. You didn't talk about
recommendation.
that. Talk about that for a minute. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You
So
got to talk about it.
yeah, I was because again, I don't need to be subscribed to 27 different services for one
Mm-hmm.
show here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I went and did it. I dropped the 5.99 or whatever it is, and I
Mm-hmm.
binge watched the first the first 9 episodes I fit in one day, and then the finale the last day or the second day.
Like I said, we started on a Friday and we finished it Saturday morning.
Yep. God, but yeah, I got through 9. I'm like, can I get through? I can't get through 10.
Mm,
Ah, fun freaking series. I'm actually rewatching it now with my
right.
buddy. Like we went through the first two, and
Nice.
I'm like, he goes, "Why is this so damn good?" I'm like, "It's the writers of Deadpool and Zombieland."
Well, and the actors and the directors and
Right,
just everybody, like they're making it like
right. Mackie puts on a bang
they're
up
cooking.
performance there. Yeah.
They're cooking with this show,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's so funny you say that because Brock actually finished it this week too. Because I had mentioned it and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll fucking watch it for the murderous clown." But
Right.
he, in his typical fashion, he finished it in a fucking night because that's
Mm-hmm.
what he does. He binges like a crazy person. And he's like, "Dude, that show was fucking one of the best shows I think
Right.
I've seen this year." And I was like, "It's pretty fucking good, right?" He's
And
like, "It's
he,
getting a second season, right?" And I was like, "I sure fucking hope so. It sounds like it's the highest rated thing on Peacock, so they fucking
right.
better since they don't have fucking much on
But
there."
you look at the critics ratings. Like critics rating is 61, and then the crowd rating is like 92. Like, yeah, the crowd is right on this one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a crowd pleaser,
It's a
that's for
little
sure.
gory. Sure. Is it supposed to be? Yeah, it's Twisted fucking
Yes.
Metal.
What is the name of the show you're watching based on the old video games?
Right.
Fucking
Uh,
yeah, what a great show.
I
We
like
keep saying good things about it. That's how good a show it is.
my least favorite part of the entire episode or the entire series was the last episode.
Really, I
Yeah.
really liked the last
I
episode.
hated the finale. I hated it because
Yeah.
they're basically turning it into Death Race, right?
But see,
But
it had to happen, Nate,
yeah, but
because
no,
the show
but no, it
is
didn't.
called
It's Twisted Metal,
Twisted Metal.
and they twisted
And
plenty
the
of
game
metal.
is all about there being the Twisted Metal fucking tournament or championship or whatever the fuck.
Correct. Yeah, correct. But no, it didn't have to. It didn't have to go there right after the first season. Come on.
Yes. Yes, it did.
No,
It had to, Nate.
I don't like it. But
Had to.
I don't like it.
Would you have rathered that it had been that way from the start?
No, definitely not.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You're enthralled, you're brought in, and now we do the video game.
I love the opening sequence and the copy of the fucking video game hits the windshield.
Oh, right? Yeah. That's good. I watched a little thing on YouTube. I guess they actually, that's all of that stuff was like a real shot where somebody was, Anthony Mackie was actually driving a car through an abandoned mall, picking up shoes. You know, they had their squibs in the car and stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And now I have Peacock, so I've been going back and rewatching because I've always heard good things about it. I've never actually sat down and watched it. I'm watching Suits.
I have never seen that show, but likewise, I have only heard good things about it.
Right. So I was like, well,
Is that the one?
I'm in Peacock Land, so
Is
here
it
we
the
are
one
with
that has
Suits.
Gina Torres in it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. She is the managing partner of a law firm,
Yeah.
and she
Fair
is
enough.
amazing in it.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
and it's got Meghan Markle, before she
I
was like,
don't. Is that the one who married
yes,
the prince?
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, back before she
I
became
didn't
like,
know she was an actress.
yeah.
I haven't seen the show, so I don't know
And
any of this
like,
shit.
and
So.
again, so it's just like I've never heard a bad thing about it. I'm like, it's here, boom, and I think I'm on the second season now already, and I'm just like, yeah,
Okay.
I'm like, I want to edit this episode or splice it together and then just put on Suits.
Okay.
So that is probably what I will do after we hop off for the evening.
Speaking of hopping off, it's that time again, folks, where we play Tim's Going to Bed. I am so fucking tired.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the app will exit more gracefully this time. I saw when I came back in today before this episode, I'm like, disconnect? Okay, bro? Or whatever it was that was in chat. What is it? Oh, connection
Wait,
lost?
what are we talking about?
Apparently last episode 2 weeks ago, the call ended abruptly.
Oh, this chat. The
Yes.
Skype chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were mid talking about something and Skype just like shit the bed. But
Oh.
it was also the very end of the thing, so it was like meh. Alrighty. This is the end of the Working Your podcast. Tim.
Nate.
That's Nate.
Get forked.
We out.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K.A. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
Hello.
Hello.
Yay.
I think I have to fuck around with the gain because the program.
Oh.
Well, it kept it last time. But I guess the program had an update 3 days ago to support, a new gaming wheel, racing wheel, and not fucking
Anything to do with the microphone.
Yeah,
Right.
No reason to support probably the fastest growing chipset
But that gaming wheel.
for PC.
Mhm.
So
It's a thing.
I'm gonna do. No, I should test with my audio hijacks. Let me test with that. See where
Okay,
we're at. Because I could have come down a couple of ticks. Testing. Oh, right. Am I fucking horrible? All the things. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That looks high on the meter, even though it says keyboard. Why am I looking at a Mac keyboard on your picture?
Oh, what you talking about?
How did you just slide an image? I don't understand. What the fuck is happening?
Camera drivers.
What?
Camera drivers. Just fucking with them.
Camera drivers.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to this fucking audio. All right. I have confusion. Input game on the program, which has worked once I have installed it correctly, saying 10 decibels. I recall before being at around 40 something, so I guess we're gonna manually tweak this fucking, rather than use the software that kind of doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. There, now I should look right on your screen.
So I should do testing. Well, that's nice. I can see it live moving. Okay, so I remember being at like 46 or 2 weeks ago. I don't know if that's correct or if that's the lucky number.
Okay, I mean, you look fine on my end.
Well, I just changed everything. I just changed the knob. Let me another test recording. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is Tim talking to Nate, who's showing me pictures and/or images of keyboards. Is it exciting?
No, it's my other monitor up here.
Why is it a picture of a Mac keyboard?
That's my wallpaper.
Because you like the Mac keyboard?
I do like the Mac key. I actually like just this image.
What's the words underneath the E, N, or no, I guess it's W? Because I don't got those words.
I mean, it might not necessarily be a Mac keyboard, but,
I mean,
a chiclet style. Yeah, no, I know. I have one.
I mean, come on. That's the Mac fucking keyboard. Let me listen to this.
You mean this one?
What is it? What is that indented key on the far right side? Is it broken?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hence me getting it, because
What's below it?
What's below it?
Yeah, what's the R?
The thing that it stands on with the USB ports? It's not wireless.
Oh, that's probably like a...
It's an OG, yeah.
Well, not true OG, because the true OG, which I was using up until a year ago, was full clackety-clack, and it had a whopping 2 USB 1.0 ports out the back of it. And it had the old iMac Clear thing. Yeah. So you probably have...
I think it came off
3 versions before this,
a
probably.
2014 iMac.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
all right, I don't like how loud I am, so we're gonna lower the gain some more and hope it doesn't fuck it up. Let's try 34. Let's do that. Another test. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ugh.
Classy, Tim.
Very classy. The classiest. Sounds like I'm blowing it out. But what I should do, though, switch my audio because of what I learned.
As he moves the whole camera.
Then if I do this.
It's funny, I've actually seen people that review these mics talking into them like this, and I'm like, it's not supposed to work this way.
Which mic?
The pod mic.
Oh, are you using it incorrectly?
Apparently. Apparently you're supposed to talk into them like this.
I'm trying to listen to this thing and not...
Well, don't do that.
Ugh. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ugh.
Ugh.
Another test. That sounds clear.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Ugh.
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 Okay, I'm gonna do another test. Hang on. Shush you. Okay, this is another test. Just to make damn sure this mic is recording correctly. We are at 34 input gain dBs. Stopping now with a little bit of excitement. Yes. Okay, this is another test. Just to make damn sure mic is recording correctly. 34 input gain. Stopping net. Okay, that actually looks really clean.
Cool.
Sounds really clean. And although that's not my headphones, that is on my reference speakers, so I think we're good.
Okay.
Dump these little snippets. Just confuse me. Seriously, I have a select all, but I don't have a delete all. That's dumb. Hey guys, you missed something in your app. All right, doing what I didn't do when we started, or I started the call 9 minutes ago. Hitting record. Oh, I need to pipe the audio. I still need to be able to hear you. This.
Oh, so all the outtakes are on me this time, huh?
As they usually are.
Okay.
Actually. Very, very, very rarely would I do that amount of editing for the outtake.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you just laid them all together and then used the double master.
No, the sequence is always I do the combo, and then I line your voice up to the combo, which is usually exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
Then I find where I am talking to you in the combo on the 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then I line up my this side of the world recording audio to that, usually down to the millisecond.
Right.
Then I
indiscernible from our audience's ears.
Yes. Then I cut the combo. I cut yours. I cut the front half of the outtakes off of yours. Then I have yours and mine, and then I move that combo front half to outtakes. And then I mute the combo, do the edit. Then if there happens to be outtakes at the end that's recorded, then I'll usually cut that from the combo.
Right.
Because usually that'll run longer than my audio.
Right. I stop recording after you basically always.
Yep. Sounds like there's hooligans playing in my street right now.
Hooligans? Ooh.
Yeah, hooligans. I'd say get off my lawn, but I only have a backyard lawn, so...
So those hooligans belong to the people that own the house in front of you, or...
Unlikely, since they're little children that don't speak words. These children, these hoodlums, are definitely speaking words.
Cool.
Like, toss it to me like they're fucking playing in the street or something.
Oh, as long as they're not like, hey, unload this work truck and toss that to me.
Load this work truck. In my work truck?
Yes.
No, my car alarm would go off on that. Well, I would hope. It's also like directly below me in my vision, so I would be able to see if that were occurring.
Are we gonna kick this thing off?
Yeah. We're doing a thing, right? Yeah, let's do the thing. Fucking Christ. Okay. Oh, hang on. Yeah. In 3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Cut in.
Cut in.
Stop it. Stop it.